Rebuilding yourself is not about making huge, overwhelming changes all at once. It's about taking control of the small habits that shape your daily life and slowly transforming them into powerful tools for growth. The habits that might seem harmless today, the ones that hold you back, drain your energy, or stop you from reaching your full potential, are the ones you need to tackle if you want real, lasting change. You might not notice them at first, but they're there, affecting your mindset, your productivity, and your ability to achieve your goals. In this guide, we'll take a close look at how you can remove those weak habits, one by one. The process won't always be easy, and it will require patience, but it's doable, and it's worth it. If you feel stuck or frustrated with where you are, or if you've tried to make changes before but never stuck with them, this is your chance to start fresh. By focusing on small, manageable steps, you can shift your mindset, build discipline, and take control of your future. The goal here is simple: to help you kill off the habits that weaken your resolve and replace them with stronger, healthier routines that will move you closer to success. Every day you make a conscious choice to break away from what's holding you back. You're stepping into a better version of yourself. It's all about doing the work, even when it's uncomfortable, and I'm going to show you exactly how to take action, starting right now. You'll learn practical, no-nonsense advice for eliminating distractions, building mental strength, and committing to your goals. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. So if you're ready to rebuild yourself by killing the habits that no longer serve you, let's dive in. There's no better time than now to start making lasting changes that will transform your life. Chapter 1. Eliminate one distraction that weakens your daily focus. Every day begins with a choice. You either claim control over your attention or let something else take it from you. In the quiet moments before the world pulls at your sleeves, you are handed power. What you do with that power, how you protect it, how you direct it, that's what shapes your life. Most people give it away without even realizing it. They wake up, reach for their phones, and the day is already gone before it begins. They scroll, react, consume, and repeat. And at the end of it all, they wonder where the time went, why they feel so behind, and why their goals remain untouched. Focus isn't a natural talent, it's a daily decision, one that gets stronger every time you defend it. You don't need to become some productivity machine. You just need to stop surrendering your focus to things that weaken you. And the truth is, you already know what that thing is. That one distraction that always pulls you away from what matters. Maybe it's your phone, maybe it's certain people, maybe it's that voice in your head that convinces you to put things off until later. Whatever it is, it's stealing more than your time, it's stealing your potential. And the longer you allow it, the more it becomes a habit, a pattern, a lifestyle that slowly pulls you away from the person you know you could be. To rebuild yourself, you must start by removing what's breaking you down, not in a dramatic way, but in a focused, deliberate, consistent way. Think about the last time you sat down to work, to think, to reflect, to write, to build something. How long did it take before your focus was interrupted? How many times did you reach for a device, open a tab, check something that didn't need to be checked? These tiny moments seem harmless, but they compound. They fracture your focus, drain your mental energy, and train your brain to live in a distracted state. And you can't build anything solid on a shaky foundation. You rebuild your foundation by protecting your time like it matters. Because it does. You can always get more money, more opportunities, even more connections. But you can never get back time spent on useless things. That's why killing your weak habits begins with eliminating one distraction that weakens your daily focus. Not 10, Not all, just one. And it has to be the one you know is holding you back the most. Maybe it's the way you start your day. Instead of waking up with intention, you let yourself get pulled into other people's lives through a screen. Before you've had a chance to think your own thoughts, you're already reacting to someone else's. That one habit alone can derail your entire day. You start by checking one thing, then another, and before you know it, an hour has passed and you haven't done anything that moves you forward. That's not just a distraction, it's a trap. And the worst part, you don't even feel it happening. Because distractions are designed to feel good in the moment. That's what makes them dangerous. They reward you with short-term comfort at the cost of long-term progress. And this is where most people get stuck. They think the solution is to do more, hustle harder, cram in more tasks. But that's not the answer. The answer is subtraction. Do less of what weakens you, remove what makes you scattered, and what remains will be enough. That's the power of elimination. Not everything in your life needs to be optimized. Some things need to be cut out completely. You don't need to be busy, you need to be focused. There's a massive difference. Busy is chaotic. Focused is intentional. Busy is reactive. Focused is calm and controlled. Busy looks impressive. Focused gets results. And the bridge from busy to focused is made by killing the habits that keep pulling you back into distraction. Here's what most people never consider. Every distraction you allow into your life comes with a hidden cost. It doesn't just take up time, it drains your attention, breaks your momentum, and makes it harder to re-engage with meaningful work. And over time, you lose trust in yourself. You start to doubt your ability to follow through. You feel scattered, behind, and out of sync with your own goals. That's not because you're lazy. It's because you've let too many weak habits take control. And those habits, once installed, don't leave easily. They get comfortable, they blend in, they become part of your routine. You don't even question them anymore. That's why the first step to rebuilding your life isn't adding something new. It's removing what no longer serves you. And that begins with one honest question: what's the one distraction I need to eliminate? Once you have the answer, the work begins. Not in some extreme cold turkey kind of way, but with deliberate intentional steps that show your mind who's in charge. The first day might be uncomfortable. You'll feel the pull, the urge to go back to what's easy. But if you can hold the line, just for a day, you'll start to feel something shift. A little more mental clarity, a little more time, a little more peace. And that space you create, that's where growth happens. That's where you reconnect with your purpose, your direction, your values. You'll notice your thoughts are clearer, your decisions are stronger. You stop reacting to everything and start choosing what gets your attention. That's the kind of self-respect most people never develop, because they never take control of their focus. They give it away all day long, then wonder why they feel lost. But not you. You're not here to live that way. You're here to rebuild yourself. And that doesn't happen through wishful thinking. It happens through clear, intentional action. You already know what you need to remove. Now you must remove it. Not tomorrow, today. If your distraction is your phone, set time limits or delete the apps that consume you. If it's negative people, reduce your exposure and protect your peace. If it's perfectionism, learn to act before you feel ready. If it's self-doubt, take one step forward anyway. If it's comfort, do the thing that challenges you. The specifics don't matter as much as the decision itself. Once you decide that your focus matters more than your distractions, you begin the process of rebuilding. And that process doesn't need to be flashy. It just needs to be consistent. The moment you remove one major distraction, your whole life starts to move differently. You gain more energy. You start to notice the little things. You begin to hear your own thoughts again. You feel lighter, more intentional, more aligned. It won't happen all at once, but you'll feel it. The fog lifts. The noise fades. The path becomes clearer, not because you added anything new, but because you removed what was clouding your mind. And from there, everything becomes possible. You can build better routines, make stronger decisions, take bolder action, create meaningful progress. But none of it happens until you protect your focus. Not once, every day. It's a daily practice. And some days you'll slip. You'll fall back into the distraction. That's okay. What matters is how quickly you come back. What matters is that you don't let one mistake turn into a pattern. Discipline is not perfection. It's consistency. It's the daily decision to return to what matters. You'll find that the more you eliminate, the more you become. You won't need to do more. You'll just waste less. You'll be more present. You'll get more done. You'll feel stronger, calmer, sharper. Not because you're working harder, but because you're no longer working against yourself. This isn't about productivity. It's about self-respect. It's about living in a way that reflects who you want to be. If you want to be focused, then protect your focus. If you want to be strong, eliminate what makes you weak. If you want to live with purpose, remove what distracts you from it. You don't need to fix everything today. You just need to eliminate one thing that's breaking you. Just one. Start there. Build from there. One decision. One shift. One better day. That's how you begin. That's how you win. And once you feel the power of that first change, you won't stop. You'll keep going. Because you'll know that you're not just changing habits, you're changing your life. Chapter 2. Wake up early and take control of your day. Waking up early is more than just a productivity trend. It's a decision to live with control and intention. When you wake up early, you're not just starting your day before the rest of the world. You're taking ownership of your time. You're choosing to lead your life instead of reacting to it. And that small decision, made daily, begins to rewire the way you think, feel, and act. Most people wake up in response to their environment. Their alarm goes off at the last possible moment. They rush, they scramble, they start their day already behind. There's no time to think, no space to breathe, and no control over what happens next. That's not a routine, it's survival. And when you live like that long enough, you begin to feel like life is just happening to you. You lose your sense of direction. Your goals get buried under distractions. Your discipline weakens. But there's another way, a way that starts with rising before the noise, before the obligations, before the world asks anything of you. In those early hours, you create space, mental space, emotional space, creative space. You begin your day on your own terms. And in doing so, you reclaim something most people never realize they've lost: the ability to decide how your life unfolds. When you wake up early, the world is quiet. That silence isn't empty, it's powerful. In that stillness, your mind is clearer, your thoughts are sharper, and your energy is undisturbed. You can hear yourself think. You can connect with your goals. You can set your direction with intention, not impulse, and that creates a ripple effect that carries through your entire day. You don't have to be a morning person by nature to start waking up earlier. It's not about personality. It's about priorities. You have to want a better life badly enough to interrupt your comfort. And let's be real, waking up early isn't easy, especially in the beginning. It requires discipline. It requires sacrifice. But every meaningful change in your life will demand that from you. Nothing great is built from ease. Progress comes from doing what most people won't. From choosing structure over chaos. From choosing responsibility over convenience. When you decide to rise early, you send a message to yourself: I am in charge of my life. I am no longer waiting to be motivated. I am no longer drifting through the hours. I am setting the tone, setting the pace, and setting the standard. This one habit, waking up earlier, can improve everything else. You'll have time to think before the rush. You'll be able to plan instead of panic. You'll start your day in a calm and centered place instead of a chaotic one. And when your mornings change, your mindset changes. Your mornings shape your focus, and your focus shapes your actions. So if you want to create lasting change, start with your mornings. You might be wondering, what should I actually do in the early hours? The answer is simple: whatever moves you forward. That could be journaling, exercising, reading, planning, praying, meditating, working on a goal, or simply sitting in silence to prepare your mind for the day. The point isn't to fill your morning with tasks, it's to use that time intentionally. To grow, to reflect, to prepare. Waking up early doesn't mean you need to start doing more. It means you start doing the right things first. You prioritize what matters before distractions take over. You protect your goals from the demands of the world, because once the day gets going, everything competes for your attention. But in the morning, your time is yours. That's why the first hour of the day is so important. It's your foundation. If you spend it wisely, everything you build on top of it becomes stronger. But if you waste it, the rest of the day often unravels. That first hour sets your energy, your mindset, and your momentum. This doesn't mean you need to wake up at 4 a.m. and run 10 miles. It simply means you stop sleeping through your life. You stop treating the morning like a burden and start treating it like an opportunity, because it is. The opportunity to begin again, to reset, to realign with your values, to be the person you want to be before the world tells you who to be. And yes, it will be hard at first. Your mind will resist. Your body will protest. But that resistance is part of the transformation. When you overcome it, you begin to build trust in yourself. You begin to show up, even when it's uncomfortable. And that's where confidence is built, not in the easy moments, but in the ones that require effort, discipline, and commitment. You'll be surprised how quickly your energy begins to change once you start waking up with purpose. You'll feel more grounded, more in control, more present. Your days will no longer feel like something to survive. They'll become something you're creating, shaping, and leading. That shift is powerful, and it starts with the decision to begin earlier. This habit also teaches you to value your time. When you start your day with purpose, you begin to protect your time more fiercely. You stop wasting hours on meaningless things. You become more selective with your attention. You say no more easily. You set boundaries without guilt, because you've tasted what a focused, intentional day feels like, and you're no longer willing to give that up for cheap distractions. The discipline of waking up early also spills over into other areas of your life. You start to eat better. You become more consistent with your goals. You follow through more often. You keep your word to yourself. These shifts may seem small, but they compound over time. And what starts as a simple change in your routine becomes a complete transformation in your character. Some people wait their entire lives for the perfect moment to begin rebuilding. They wait for motivation, for clarity, for inspiration, but that moment never comes. And the truth is, you don't need a perfect plan. You just need to wake up and start. Start small. Start now. Start with what you have. Just start. Each early morning is a reminder that you still have the power to change. That you are not stuck. That you are not behind. That you are not too late. As long as you have another sunrise, you have another shot. But it's not enough to hope for change. You have to act. You have to lead your life like it matters. Because it does. If you've struggled with discipline in the past, this is your chance to rebuild it. And you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Set a time. Stick to it. No matter how tired you feel, no matter how tempting it is to hit snooze, get up. Prove to yourself that you're serious about your growth. Not once, every day. This habit is a mirror. It shows you who you are becoming. Not who you say you want to be, but who you show up as. Every time you rise early, you cast a vote for the person you want to be. You develop self-respect. You train your mind to lead, not follow. And that carries into everything else you do. Imagine what your life would look like if you committed to waking up early for the next 30 days. Imagine how much mental clarity you'd gain. Imagine how many goals you'd start moving toward. Imagine how proud you'd feel at the end of each day, knowing you didn't let it slip away. That's the life that's waiting for you on the other side of this habit. Don't let your future be controlled by comfort. Don't let your potential be weakened by excuses. You're capable of more, but you have to be willing to disrupt your patterns. You have to be willing to do what's hard. You have to be willing to lead your life with purpose, even when it's uncomfortable. This is your wake-up call, not just to rise earlier, but to rise stronger, to show up differently, to take ownership of every single day. You've spent enough time waiting, enough time drifting, enough time stuck in cycles that don't serve you. Now it's time to lead, to create mornings that fuel you, to use your energy wisely, to live with clarity and direction. When you wake up early, you're not just getting a head start on the day, you're becoming the kind of person who leads from the front, who doesn't need to be told what to do, who doesn't wait to be motivated, who shows up day after day because they know their life is worth it. The earlier you rise, the more time you have to connect with your vision, the more space you have to align your actions with your values, the more clarity you create around your priorities, and the more momentum you carry into everything you do. If you want to rebuild your life, this is one of the strongest first steps. You don't need fancy tools or perfect routines. You just need to commit to one promise. I will no longer start my day in chaos. I will rise early. I will lead. I will take control. Because how you start your day shapes how you live your life. And you deserve to live with purpose, not passivity, with power, not pressure, with clarity, not confusion. That shift begins in the quietest hour of the day, before the noise, before the world, when it's just you, your breath, your mind, and your commitment. Decide, set the alarm, get up, begin again, and let every morning be a reminder that you are in control now, not your distractions, not your comfort. You, every day is yours. Take it. Chapter 3. Cut out excuses and take full responsibility now. Every excuse you make delays the life you're capable of living. It doesn't matter how convincing it sounds in your head. It doesn't matter how many other people agree with it. The truth is, every time you make an excuse, you are giving your power away. You're choosing to remain stuck. You're choosing to stay exactly where you are, hoping that maybe one day things will get easier, better, more convenient. But the people who rebuild themselves, who rise from failure, who create something real with their life, those people don't wait for life to be easier. They take full responsibility right now. Responsibility is not a burden, it's a doorway. When you take full responsibility for where you are and who you are, you unlock the ability to change it. You stop pointing fingers. You stop waiting for someone to save you. You stop blaming your past, your parents, your job, your genetics, your environment, or anything else that might sound logical but only holds you back. You take ownership. You say, "This is my life, and I will lead it." That's the moment your mindset begins to shift. That's the moment you go from victim to leader, from waiting to acting, from drifting to building. Excuses are always easy. They always sound reasonable. That's why so many people fall into them. But easy doesn't lead to growth. Easy doesn't push you to evolve. The people who make excuses might avoid short-term discomfort, but they pay with long-term regret. You don't want that. You don't want to look back and realize you spent years rationalizing your inaction. You don't want to realize you were the only thing standing in your way. That's why you must cut out the noise and confront yourself with honesty. Brutal honesty. Because until you do, nothing will change. You might say you don't have time, but the truth is, you have time for what you prioritize. If it matters enough, you will find a way. If it doesn't, you'll find an excuse. You might say you don't feel ready, but no one ever feels fully ready to change. Readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. And that decision can happen today, not tomorrow, not next week. Now, you might tell yourself that it's not your fault. And maybe it's not. But even if it's not your fault, it's still your responsibility. Life is not about fairness. It's about what you do with what you have. Taking full responsibility means you stop negotiating with your weaknesses. You stop trying to justify your inaction. You stop pretending that the world owes you something. It doesn't. It never has, and it never will. That's not a reason to be bitter. It's a reason to become powerful. Because when you stop expecting life to hand you success, you begin building it with your own two hands. That's where real growth begins. Not in blaming, not in waiting, in doing, in choosing, in owning every part of your journey. Think about every goal you've set but never followed through on. Think about every time you said you were going to change but didn't. Now, look yourself in the mirror and admit that no one stopped you but you. That's not shame. That's power. Because if you're the one holding yourself back, then you're also the one who can set yourself free. That's what this chapter is about. Freedom. The kind of freedom that comes from radical responsibility. You have to stop waiting for the perfect plan. You have to stop waiting until you feel more motivated, more supported, more inspired. You don't need more information. You don't need more time. You need more action. You need to take responsibility for your choices, for your schedule, for your habits, for your outcomes. And yes, some things in life will be outside your control, but your response will never be. And your response is where your power lives. The people who transform their lives don't wait for their circumstances to change. They change themselves. They rise early. They sacrifice comfort. They say no to distractions. They stop blaming everyone and everything around them. They stop pretending they're helpless. They look around at their life, no matter how hard it is, and say, "This is mine to fix." That's what separates winners from the rest. Not luck, not talent, Not the perfect background, just responsibility. Ruthless, relentless, personal responsibility. Cutting out excuses requires self-awareness. You have to start noticing the stories you tell yourself. The ones that say, "I can't because I'm too tired," or "I failed because someone else got lucky," or "I'll start when things calm down." These stories are poison. They might comfort you in the moment, but they destroy your progress. You have to challenge them. You have to dismantle them. You have to replace them with a new narrative. One that says, "I can figure this out. I can take the first step. I can build the life I want." It starts small. It starts by catching yourself in the act. The next time you hear yourself make an excuse, pause. Ask yourself, is this true, or is this just comfortable? Is this helping me grow, or is this keeping me small? That moment of awareness is the beginning of change. That's where you start to take your power back. And once you see how often you've been holding yourself back, you'll never want to go back to that mindset again. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you have to fix everything overnight. It just means you stop denying that it's yours to fix. You start with one area of your life. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your work ethic. Maybe it's your relationships. You pick one and you commit. You stop blaming. You stop making excuses. You do the work every day, whether you feel like it or not. And as you build discipline, something incredible happens. You begin to trust yourself again. That trust is everything. When you trust yourself, you don't need motivation. You don't need constant praise. You don't need anyone to push you. You become self-led. That's the kind of strength that builds resilience. That's what turns goals into reality. But it only happens when you stop running from responsibility and start leaning into it. Some people spend their entire lives running from responsibility. They blame the government, their boss, their upbringing, their genetics. They collect excuses like trophies, thinking they're protecting themselves. But what they're really doing is giving up their power. They're saying, "I'm not in control." And as long as they believe that, they'll never grow. They'll stay stuck. Not because they can't change, but because they won't own their power to change. Don't be one of those people. Be the one who steps up. Be the one who says no more hiding, no more blaming, no more waiting. Be the one who leads yourself forward even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's inconvenient, even when no one else is watching. That's what responsibility looks like. And it's the first real step toward rebuilding your life. You don't need anyone's permission to change. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need to stop letting excuses make your decisions for you. From this moment on, you are responsible for your time, your energy, your growth, and your outcomes. If you fail, it's on you. If you succeed, it's because of you. That's how leaders think. That's how high performers live. That's how transformation begins. You'll notice that the people who grow the most are the ones who take the most responsibility. They don't wait for things to go their way. They adapt. They course correct. They hold themselves accountable. And because of that, they keep evolving. Even when things go wrong, they own it. They ask, "What can I learn? How can I do better?" That mindset turns every setback into fuel. If you want to rebuild yourself, stop looking for who to blame. Start asking how to take control. Your energy is too valuable to waste on resentment. Your time is too precious to give away to excuses. Your potential is too important to be buried under fear. It's time to rise, to face the truth,
to make hard decisions, and to lead your life like it matters, because it does. This is not just about habits. It's about identity. You are becoming someone new, someone who doesn't need to hide behind excuses, someone who takes full ownership of their path, someone who lives with integrity. That's not just powerful, it's rare. Most people never reach that level of self-leadership, but you can. And it starts now. Start by writing down one area of your life where you've been making excuses. Be honest. Then write the truth. What can you do today to take ownership of that area? It might be a small step, but it's a real one. And once you take that step, take another and another. Stack those wins. Build that momentum. Refuse to turn back. Responsibility is not a punishment. It's your path to freedom. When you stop making excuses, you stop living in fear. You stop waiting for permission. You stop avoiding reality. You start doing. You start growing. You start winning. Excuses are loud. They fill your head with reasons to stop. But responsibility is quiet. It doesn't beg for attention. It just acts. It moves. It builds. It leads. And the more you lean into it, the stronger you become. You've carried excuses for long enough. They've weighed you down, slowed your progress, and stolen your time. It's time to put them down. It's time to walk lighter, stronger, clear. Because when you cut out excuses, you create space for focus, for clarity, for discipline, for growth. This is your moment. Take it. Own your choices. Own your time. Own your story. You don't need to wait for anything else to begin. You already have what you need. The only thing missing is your decision to stop blaming and start building. Do that, and you'll unlock a level of strength, freedom, and control that changes everything.
Chapter 4. Build a morning routine that sharpens your mindset. How you start your day defines the direction of your life. The first hour of your morning is not just a block of time, it's a foundation. It sets the tone for how you think, act, feel, and respond to every challenge that comes your way. If you roll out of bed late, scroll through your phone, skip breakfast, and rush into the chaos of the world, your mindset becomes scattered. You start the day on defense. You react to the world instead of building yourself first. And once you fall into that reactive pattern, the rest of the day feels like you're chasing after control you never really had. But when you choose to build a disciplined morning routine, everything begins to shift. You reclaim the first part of your day for yourself, not for notifications, not for the opinions of others, not for distractions, just for you. You use that time to sharpen your thoughts, strengthen your habits, and center your mindset. That single decision, repeated daily, will transform your focus, discipline, and ability to handle life with clarity and purpose. You won't need external motivation because you'll be operating from a place of self-command. The most powerful people don't wake up by accident. They don't leave their energy to chance. They design their mornings with intention. They don't rely on motivation to show up. They rely on systems. Systems create consistency, and consistency creates strength. Your mind becomes sharper when you stop wasting the beginning of your day on activities that dull your attention and drain your willpower. Instead of starting your day with noise, you begin it with structure. That's how you become dangerous in the best way possible. You don't need a complicated or trendy routine. You need something that works. You need something you can repeat. And most importantly, you need something that makes you stronger mentally, not just busy physically. A sharp morning routine isn't about checking boxes. It's about building mental toughness, creating internal clarity, and choosing the person you want to become before the rest of the world tries to decide that for you. The first thing you do when you wake up matters more than you realize. It trains your brain. It directs your energy. If the first thing you do is reach for your phone, you're feeding your mind chaos before it's ready. You're letting the outside world hijack your thoughts before you've even had a moment to breathe. And over time, that single choice builds a passive mindset, one that's reactive, distracted, and emotionally fragile. But if the first thing you do is ground yourself in purpose, the rest of your day begins to align with that strength. Start by waking up with intention. Don't hit snooze. Don't negotiate with your alarm. Get up when you said you would. That alone builds self-respect. That small promise you keep to yourself is the first win of the day, and that win matters. It tells your mind, I lead. I follow through. I don't wait to feel ready. I act. When you do that consistently, your confidence grows, not from words but from action. Once you're awake, resist the urge to dive into distractions. Protect your mental space. Give yourself time to wake up in stillness. Your mind is most impressionable in the first few moments of the day. Don't fill it with noise. Fill it with clarity. Sit with your thoughts. Breathe deeply. Stretch your body. Drink water. Move slowly and intentionally. These things may seem simple, but they're powerful. They create space between you and the chaos of life, and in that space you reclaim control. After you ground yourself, feed your mind. Read something meaningful. Not gossip, not shallow entertainment. Something that challenges you to think. Something that nourishes your perspective. Even 10 minutes of reading can shift your mindset for the rest of the day. You're training your brain to seek wisdom over noise. You're building mental resilience by choosing growth over stimulation. That's not a small habit, that's a weapon. Then get your body moving. You don't need to run 5 miles or lift heavy weights. Just move, walk, stretch, do a short workout, get your blood flowing. This isn't about building a perfect physique. It's about waking your system up. When your body moves, your mind sharpens. You become more alert, more focused, and more alive. Your energy isn't something you have, it's something you create. Movement creates momentum, and momentum leads to discipline. From there, get clear on your priorities. Don't just drift into your to-do list. Write down your top goals for the day. Ask yourself, what really matters today? What do I need to do to grow? Focus on what will move you forward, not what will keep you busy. Being busy is not the same as being effective. A sharp mind doesn't chase everything. It targets what matters. It attacks the essential and ignores the rest. If you want to take it further, build reflection into your morning. Write a few lines in a journal. Ask yourself how you feel, what you're focused on, and what you want to improve. This creates awareness. It teaches you to lead your emotions instead of being led by them. Most people never take time to examine their thoughts. They just react. But when you reflect, you take responsibility for how you think, and that shifts your entire mental state. And finally, anchor your morning with intention. Remind yourself of who you're becoming. Say it out loud if you have to. Affirm your values, your discipline, your goals. That's not empty self-talk. It's leadership. It's training your mind to think clearly, act decisively, and move with purpose. And when you do this every single morning, you start to notice a shift, not just in how you feel but in how you show up. Your mindset becomes your shield. Your focus becomes your edge. And your morning becomes your launch pad. This isn't about perfection. You won't always feel motivated. You won't always do it flawlessly.
That doesn't matter. What matters is that you show up, that you repeat the habit, that you honor the routine even when it's inconvenient. That consistency is what sharpens your mindset. That daily commitment is what separates those who drift from those who dominate. There will be days when it feels pointless, days when it feels easier to stay in bed, days when the routine feels repetitive. That's exactly when you must push through. That's exactly when your discipline is tested. And that's exactly when growth happens. You're not doing this to feel good. You're doing this to become stronger, to build a mindset that can handle anything, to train yourself to act with clarity, even when the world gets noisy. You don't need to create a perfect morning from the start. You just need to start. Build it one habit at a time. Wake up on time. Move your body. Feed your mind. Set your priorities. Reflect on your mindset. That's it. Keep it simple. Keep it consistent. And over time you'll notice something incredible. You'll stop relying on motivation. You'll stop chasing focus. Because you'll already be centered. You'll already be grounded. Your routine will have become your discipline. People spend years trying to find focus, clarity, and direction. But most of that is built in the first hour of your day. If you master your morning, you begin mastering your life. Because how you do the first things of the day often reflects how you handle the rest. Sloppy mornings lead to scattered actions. Focused mornings lead to intentional growth. The choice is yours every single day. If you keep waking up without a plan, you'll keep falling into patterns that waste your potential. If you keep giving your mornings to distractions, you'll keep struggling to gain control. But if you reclaim your mornings, if you own them, you'll start to feel something powerful shift. You'll begin moving through your days with strength, not stress, with clarity, not chaos, with purpose, not pressure. This isn't about becoming a morning person. This is about becoming a focused person. A person who leads their life, not just survives it. A person who starts each day on purpose, not by accident. You don't need more time, you need more clarity. And clarity is built by what you do when no one is watching, when the world is quiet, when the first light hits your room and you have a choice: drift or decide. Rebuilding yourself starts with small decisions that seem insignificant in the moment, but create massive transformation over time. A morning routine is one of those decisions. It's a simple commitment to lead yourself before life starts pulling at you. It's a statement to yourself: I matter enough to take care of my mind before I give it away to the world. And the beautiful part is, once you build a morning routine that sharpens your mindset, it begins to sharpen everything else. Your work becomes more intentional. Your relationships become more grounded. Your thoughts become more focused, and your self-respect grows. Because you're no longer just reacting to life. You're preparing for it. You're leading it. You're showing up as the person you've decided to become, not the person life randomly shaped you into. You're not rebuilding your life in one big leap. You're rebuilding it with small, sharp, consistent actions. Starting with how you wake up. Starting with how you think before the world distracts you. Starting with the quiet decision to show up fully, even when no one else sees it. Make that decision every morning. Show up. Own your time. Sharpen your focus. Build yourself before anything else tries to shape you. Because the most important battle of your day is won or lost in the first hour. And when you win that battle consistently, the rest of your life starts to change. Quietly, powerfully, permanently.
Chapter 5. Track your time to expose what's holding you back. Time is one of the few resources you can never get back. Once it's gone, it's gone. Yet, so many people spend their days without truly realizing how they're using it. Time slips away, little by little, and before you know it, the days have turned into weeks, months, or even years. If you're not consciously aware of how you're spending your time, you're living reactively, allowing life to happen to you, rather than taking control of it. But when you take the time to track how you're spending each moment, you begin to unlock powerful insights into what's holding you back. You can start to see, with brutal honesty, what is helping you grow and what is wasting your potential. Tracking your time is more than just a productivity hack. It's a tool for self-awareness. It's an opportunity to become the architect of your own life instead of being swept along by external forces. You might think you're busy, but how much of that busyness is actually leading you toward your goals? Are you investing your time in the things that truly matter, or are you simply filling your days with tasks that have little to no impact on your long-term success? The only way to answer that question with certainty is to track your time. The first step to tracking your time is awareness. Most of us live our lives on autopilot, responding to external demands without much thought about how we're spending our precious time. But once you begin tracking your activities, you start to see patterns. You might realize that you're spending far more time on social media than you ever intended, or that you're losing hours to mindless scrolling, television, or distractions that leave you feeling unfulfilled. These small decisions add up over time, and before long, they rob you of your ability to focus on the things that actually matter. When you track your time, you're forced to confront reality. You can no longer hide behind the illusion that you're too busy. You're looking at hard data that shows exactly where your time is going. And once you have that data, you can make intentional changes. If you see that you're spending too much time on low-value activities, you can begin to make conscious decisions to eliminate them. If you realize that you're not allocating enough time to high-value activities, you can adjust your schedule to reflect your priorities. The second step in time tracking is honesty. If you're going to track your time effectively, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. Don't leave anything out, even if it feels uncomfortable. If you're spending more time than you'd like to admit on things like watching TV or scrolling through social media, don't sugarcoat it. Acknowledge it for what it is, wasted time. The key here is not to judge yourself, but to understand the truth of how you're spending your time. Only once you're aware of these habits can you begin to change them. Tracking your time isn't about feeling guilty or beating yourself up for every minute that doesn't go perfectly according to plan. It's about gaining clarity on how your habits align or don't align with your goals. Once you understand where your time is going, you can take steps to redirect it toward more meaningful activities. You have to ask yourself, am I spending my time in a way that moves me closer to my dreams, or am I simply getting through the day? To track your time effectively, start by documenting everything you do for at least a few days. Don't worry about being perfect, just start writing down what you're doing and for how long. It might be as simple as using a notebook, a time tracking app, or a spreadsheet. The goal is to get as specific as possible. Don't just write down work. Break it down into tasks. For example, emailing clients or writing a report are much more insightful than just work. The more detailed you are, the more you'll learn about how you're spending your time. At the end of each day, take a moment to review what you've tracked. Look at how much time you've spent on work, leisure, family, and self-care. Is there a balance? Are you dedicating enough time to things that fuel your growth, such as learning, exercising, or working on your goals? Are there areas where you're over-investing your time, like social media, watching TV, or engaging in conversations that don't contribute to your growth? This exercise of reviewing your time usage doesn't just provide data, it sparks awareness. It can be eye-opening to see how much time is spent on things that don't serve you. That moment of realization can be uncomfortable, but it's also a powerful catalyst for change. Once you see the patterns of how your time is being misused, you can start making changes. You may decide to reduce time spent on distractions and dedicate that energy to activities that push you closer to your goals. But time tracking goes beyond just identifying where your time is wasted. It also helps you see where your time is being invested in the right things. You may notice that you're spending a significant amount of time on tasks related to your business, health, or personal growth. That's when you celebrate the good. Tracking your time isn't about criticizing yourself, it's about improving and doubling down on what's working. If you're spending time on the things that matter, you should feel proud of that. But if there are areas where you're falling short, time tracking gives you the opportunity to course correct. Once you've reviewed your time for a few days or weeks, start setting goals for improvement. If you see that you're spending an excessive amount of time on passive activities, like watching TV or scrolling through social media, set a goal to reduce that time by a certain amount. You might commit to only allowing yourself 30 minutes of social media per day, or limit your TV watching to specific times. You can also set a goal to increase the time you spend on productive activities, like reading, exercising, or working on a project that aligns with your long-term goals. Tracking your time isn't just a one-time activity, it's an ongoing practice. As you continue to track your time, you'll begin to notice more subtle patterns. You'll see what time of day you're most productive and when you tend to fall into distractions. You might realize that you're more focused in the morning, so you can reserve your most important tasks for that time. Or you might discover that late evenings are a time when you tend to waste time scrolling through your phone, so you can establish boundaries for that time block. The more you track your time, the more you'll become aware of your natural tendencies. You'll start to understand your energy levels, your productivity cycles, and your habits. Armed with this knowledge, you can start making more intentional decisions about how to structure your days. You'll learn to optimize your time for maximum productivity and personal growth. Ultimately, tracking your time is about making your time work for you, not the other way around. It's about taking back control of your schedule and ensuring that the way you spend your time aligns with your goals. Time tracking isn't a one-time fix, it's an ongoing habit that can serve as a constant reminder of what you're working toward. It gives you clarity, direction, and accountability. It forces you to confront the truth about how you're spending your days and empowers you to make changes that lead to a better, more focused, and intentional life. Once you track your time, you'll realize how much power you have over your life. You have the ability to design your days and prioritize what matters most. It all starts with understanding where your time is going, and when you're ready to make a change, time tracking will be your guide. So take control of your time today. Track it, own it, and transform your future. Chapter 6. Replace scrolling with reading something that builds you. Every day, we are bombarded with an endless stream of information. With the tap of a finger, we dive into social media feeds, scrolling through news articles, memes, updates, and an overwhelming array of content. In many ways, it feels like we're being pulled into this never-ending cycle of digital consumption, constantly seeking something new, something entertaining, or even just a distraction from the day. But here's the reality. The hours spent scrolling through your phone, browsing social media, or consuming mindless content aren't helping you grow. They're not building you up. They're not pushing you toward your goals, and they're certainly not fostering your personal development. Instead, they're taking away time that you could be using to transform yourself into the person you want to be. It's time to break the habit. You have the power to choose what fills your mind and how you spend your time. Instead of endlessly scrolling through content that leaves you feeling drained or uninspired, you can replace that habit with one that actively nurtures your growth. You can replace mindless scrolling with reading that builds you up, strengthens your mind, and helps you grow in every area of your life. The power to make that change is in your hands. The truth is, reading is one of the most effective ways to expand your mind and improve your life. Books offer deep insights, practical advice, and timeless wisdom that can transform your thinking, actions, and ultimately your life. Unlike social media or television, reading provides you with focused, intentional information that you can apply directly to your life. It's not just passive entertainment, it's active learning, and it's a key tool for growth. One of the first steps to replacing scrolling with reading is understanding why we scroll in the first place. For many of us, social media is a way to escape, to pass the time, or to avoid discomfort. We scroll because it offers instant gratification. A funny meme can give us a quick laugh, a new post from a friend might make us feel connected, or a viral video can capture our attention for minutes or even hours. But all of this is fleeting. The satisfaction we get from scrolling is temporary, and ultimately, it leaves us feeling emptier than before. We can scroll for hours without feeling like we've accomplished anything meaningful, yet we often tell ourselves that we're just unwinding or taking a break. But when we read something that challenges us or expands our understanding, the impact is different. A book or article that introduces us to new ideas, perspectives, or strategies for success gives us something tangible to take away. It doesn't just fill time, it fills us with knowledge, motivation, and the tools to become better versions of ourselves. To make this shift, you don't need to cut out all social media or stop watching television. The goal isn't to eliminate leisure altogether, it's about balance. It's about making the conscious decision to prioritize activities that help you grow. And reading can be one of the most powerful tools in your growth journey. Start by setting intentional goals around your reading habits. How many books do you want to read each month? What kind of books do you want to focus on? It could be personal development, business, philosophy, health, or even fiction that challenges your thinking. The key is to make reading a priority in your day, rather than allowing it to be something you only do when you have the time. Like any other habit, reading requires commitment and consistency. One effective way to replace scrolling with reading is to set designated reading times throughout your day. For example, you could start your day with 30 minutes of reading before you check your phone or email. This way, you're feeding your mind with something meaningful before diving into the chaos of daily tasks. If you're someone who finds it hard to focus for long periods, begin by setting smaller time blocks, just 10 to 15 minutes. You'll be surprised at how much you can absorb in even brief sessions if you're fully engaged with the material. Another great strategy is to carry a book or e-reader with you wherever you go. If you find yourself waiting in line, sitting in traffic, or having a free moment between appointments, use that time to read. Small pockets of time throughout the day
add up. If you replace those moments of scrolling with reading, you'll find that you've made progress toward your goals and learned something new without even realizing it. But it's not just about quantity, it's about quality. Choose reading material that directly aligns with your goals and values. If you want to build resilience, read books on mental toughness or the philosophy of Stoicism. If you're trying to improve your health, look for books that teach you how to fuel your body with proper nutrition or incorporate exercise into your daily routine. When your reading becomes intentional and relevant to your growth, it becomes even more powerful. Many people avoid reading because they believe it's time-consuming, or they feel like they don't have the patience to get through an entire book. But that's a myth. Reading doesn't have to be about finishing books quickly. It's about absorbing the knowledge and insights that are valuable to you. If a book contains one powerful idea or strategy that can improve your life, that's enough. You don't have to read hundreds of books, you just have to read the right ones and apply what you learn. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with replacing scrolling with reading is the lack of immediate rewards. When you scroll through social media, you get instant gratification, likes, comments, shares. It's a dopamine hit. Reading, on the other hand, doesn't give you that instant feedback. But the rewards are far more profound and long-lasting. The ideas, lessons and strategies you learn from reading books will compound over time, transforming your life in ways that small distractions and instant gratification never can. As you continue to read, you'll notice subtle shifts in your mindset and behavior. You'll start applying the concepts you've learned, making better decisions, and showing up more powerfully in your life. To keep yourself accountable, find ways to track your progress. Set reading goals for the week or month, and track how much you've read. Consider joining a book club or online community where you can discuss the books you're reading and share insights with others. Not only does this keep you motivated, but it also helps reinforce the lessons and strategies you've learned from the books. When you start to see how your reading is translating into real-world results, you'll be even more motivated to continue the practice. Replacing scrolling with reading is a simple but powerful way to transform your life. It requires a shift in mindset and a commitment to your personal growth. The time you would have spent mindlessly scrolling is now an opportunity to learn, grow, and become the best version of yourself. Every minute you invest in reading is an investment in your future success. Over time, those small changes will add up, and you'll look back with pride, knowing that you chose to invest in your mind and your growth, rather than wasting time on fleeting distractions. So take control. Replace scrolling with reading that builds you. Make a commitment to yourself to fill your mind with knowledge, wisdom and insights that empower you to live the life you deserve. Let go of distractions that drain your energy and replace them with activities that push you toward your goals. It's time to make a shift, one page at a time.
Chapter 7. Create a plan and follow it without skipping steps. Creating a plan and following it through without skipping steps is one of the most powerful ways to build consistency and achieve long-term success. Many people find themselves overwhelmed by their goals because they haven't properly structured their journey. They have the ambition, the drive, and sometimes the ideas, but they lack a clear blueprint, and without that, they're just wandering aimlessly, hoping for the best. It's easy to get caught in the trap of feeling like you're doing something productive just because you're busy. But busy work doesn't always equal progress. A plan is more than just a list of tasks. It's a guide that keeps you grounded in your purpose, focused on your objectives, and on track to achieving them. It's your roadmap, and just like any journey, you need a clear path to follow. When you create a plan and stick to it, you're not just doing things for the sake of doing them. You're taking intentional actions that bring you closer to the life you want to build. But here's the catch. Creating a plan is one thing. Sticking to it is another. The temptation to skip steps or take shortcuts is always present, especially when things get tough or when the end goal feels far away. But here's the truth. Skipping steps doesn't help you reach your goal faster. It actually slows you down. Every step is important, and if you start cutting corners or avoiding certain parts of the plan, you risk missing out on critical lessons, insights, and skills that will only strengthen your foundation. It all starts with clarity. To create a solid plan, you need to have a clear vision of where you want to go. This isn't just about setting goals, it's about understanding the deeper purpose behind those goals. Why do you want to achieve this goal? What will it give you? What's the bigger vision behind it? Whether you're trying to build a business, improve your health, or develop a new skill, your plan should always align with your purpose. Without that clarity, you might find yourself veering off course or losing motivation along the way. Once you have that vision in mind, break it down into actionable steps. Think about what needs to happen every day, week, and month to get closer to that vision. What are the milestones you need to hit? What specific actions must you take to move forward? These steps should be clear, measurable, and realistic. Don't overwhelm yourself by thinking too far ahead. Just focus on what you can do today and this week to move in the right direction. The smaller the steps, the easier it will be to take consistent action. One of the most important aspects of following your plan is commitment. It's easy to start strong, but the true test comes when things get hard, when progress seems slow, or when distractions pull you away from your path. The key is to remind yourself that success isn't built on one giant leap. It's built on consistent small actions over time. If you skip steps or jump ahead too quickly, you lose the rhythm, and you may miss out on crucial elements that are designed to build your foundation. A crucial part of sticking to your plan is building in checkpoints. You can't just set a goal and forget about it. You need to regularly assess your progress. How are you doing? Are you staying on track, or are there areas where you're slacking off? This process isn't about self-criticism, it's about being honest with yourself. Regular reflection allows you to adjust your approach as needed, so you don't waste time repeating mistakes. If you see areas where you're skipping steps or cutting corners, it's important to recalibrate and get back on track. This process of checking in with yourself should be part of your plan from the beginning. If your plan involves a weekly breakdown of tasks, make sure you're reviewing your progress at the end of each week. If it's a larger goal, like writing a book, start by breaking it down into chapters or sections. Celebrate the small wins when you reach those milestones, and if you hit any obstacles, reflect on what's holding you back. Maybe there's a step you missed, or an aspect of the plan you didn't fully commit to. These reflections allow you to continuously adjust and refine your plan to make sure you stay on track. Another important factor is resilience. When you hit roadblocks or encounter failure, it's natural to feel discouraged, but setbacks are a part of the process. They don't mean you failed, they simply mean you've encountered a challenge, and challenges can be turned into opportunities for growth. When you face obstacles, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Adjusting your plan based on setbacks doesn't mean abandoning your vision. It means you're staying committed to the process
and making sure you're moving forward even when things don't go as expected. Accountability also plays a crucial role in following through with your plan. When you're working toward a big goal, it's easy to stay motivated for a while, but eventually the excitement starts to fade. At this point, you need someone or something to hold you accountable, whether it's a mentor, a friend, or a coach. Having someone to check in with can provide the external motivation you need to stay on track. You can't rely solely on your own willpower. Accountability partners keep you honest and ensure you're doing the work, even when you'd rather skip a step or cut corners. Consistency is the secret sauce. Success is not about doing something big once in a while. It's about doing small, consistent actions every day that move you toward your goal. Consistency is what compounds over time. When you follow your plan and take the right actions every day, even if they seem insignificant in the moment, they accumulate and lead to massive progress in the long term. One of the most important reasons to stick to your plan and not skip steps is that every part of the process is teaching you something valuable. Even if you're not seeing immediate results, the small tasks and steps are molding your character and strengthening your resolve. These moments are shaping you into someone who can handle bigger challenges in the future. So, when you feel the urge to skip a step or take a shortcut, remind yourself that every part of the plan is part of your growth. There's no rush to the finish line, because it's not about getting there quickly. It's about becoming the kind of person who can achieve anything you set your mind to. As you follow through with your plan, you'll start to build momentum. You'll begin to see the progress, and that progress will fuel your motivation. There's no better feeling than seeing the results of your consistent effort. The more you stay on track, the more confident you'll become in your ability to achieve your goals. And the best part is, the process of sticking to your plan becomes easier over time. As you build the habit of following through, it becomes part of who you are. It becomes ingrained in your identity. One last thing to remember is that life happens. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, things don't go according to plan. You might get sick, face an unexpected crisis, or encounter a setback that completely derails you. And that's okay. The key is to adjust, not give up. A plan is meant to be a tool to guide you, not a rigid structure that controls you. If life throws you off course, don't be hard on yourself. Reassess, make adjustments, and continue moving forward. A plan is a living document, and you have the power to adapt it as needed. Building a life based on intentional action and following through with your plan is what will set you apart from the majority of people who simply go through the motions. The small steps that seem insignificant now are the ones that will lead to big success in the future. By committing to your plan and not skipping steps, you're not just achieving your goals, you're becoming the kind of person who can handle any challenge, push through any obstacle, and succeed in any endeavor you pursue. So, commit to your plan, stay consistent, don't skip steps, and watch as you transform your life, one action at a time.
Chapter 8. Say no to things that do not grow you. Saying no is one of the most powerful decisions you can make in your life. It's the decision to take control of your time, energy, and focus, and to protect your personal growth. Too often, we find ourselves caught up in situations, relationships, and obligations that don't serve us, that don't challenge us to become better or help us grow. Instead, they drain our energy, distract us from our true purpose, and keep us stuck in mediocrity. We live in a world full of distractions, demands, and expectations from every corner. Friends, family, work, social media, and even our own inner voices All of them are constantly calling for our attention. But here's the reality. If you say yes to everything, you end up saying no to yourself. Every time you agree to something that doesn't align with your personal growth, you are sacrificing your potential. And over time, those sacrifices accumulate, leading to stagnation instead of progress. Learning to say no is about setting boundaries, protecting your focus, and prioritizing the things that truly matter to you. It's about understanding that your time and energy are finite, and that every moment you spend on something that doesn't contribute to your growth is a moment you can never get back. It's easy to say yes out of guilt, fear of missing out, or the desire to please others, but true growth comes from being intentional with where you direct your energy. To say no to things that don't grow you, you first need to get clear on what truly matters to you. What are your goals? What are your values? What is the person you're striving to become? Once you have a clear vision of where you want to go, it becomes easier to evaluate opportunities and situations. You can start asking yourself, does this move me closer to my goals? Does this align with my values? Will this challenge me to grow? If the answer is no, then it's time to say no. Saying no isn't about being selfish, it's about self-respect. When you choose to protect your time and energy, you're respecting yourself enough to invest in your growth. You're acknowledging that you are worthy of dedicating your attention to things that bring value to your life, that contribute to your journey of becoming a better version of yourself. It's an act of self-love, not self-centeredness. One of the most difficult aspects of saying no is the fear of disappointing others. It's natural to want to be liked, to avoid conflict, and to make others happy. But you must remember that no one can grow at their fullest potential by constantly saying yes to others at the expense of their own development. When you say yes to everyone, you stretch yourself too thin, leaving nothing for the things that truly matter. Saying no doesn't mean you're rejecting others. It simply means you're prioritizing yourself and your journey. You might also face the temptation to say yes out of obligation. Maybe it's a family commitment, a social event, or a work responsibility that doesn't align with your goals, but feels like something you have to do. But the truth is, your time is too precious to waste on things that don't support your growth. It's important to be honest with yourself about where your energy is going. Will this event, this task, or this obligation help you become a better person? If not, saying no is an act of preserving your energy for the things that truly matter. One of the most powerful ways to say no is by getting comfortable with discomfort. Often, when we feel pressured to say yes, it's because we fear the discomfort of saying no. We fear that people will be upset with us, or that we'll be seen as uncooperative or rude. But the reality is, those fears are often exaggerated. Most people will understand if you respectfully decline their request, especially if you have a valid reason. And if they don't, that says more about them than it does about you. It's important to remember that you can't control how others react, but you can control your choices. You have the power to decide what's best for you. At the same time, you can't say no to everything. There will be times when you need to say yes to things that don't directly contribute to your personal growth, but are necessary for other aspects of your life. But even in these cases, the key is balance. The idea is not to become so rigid that you cut yourself off from all other experiences, but rather to be intentional about where you say yes and where you say no. Every choice you make should be aligned with your overall goals and values. When you start saying no to things that don't grow you, you'll notice a shift in your life. You'll feel more in control of your time and energy, and you'll find yourself more focused on the things that matter. Your productivity will improve because you're no longer wasting time on unnecessary distractions. Your personal growth will accelerate because you're consistently investing in activities, people, and experiences that challenge you and help you evolve. Saying no can also create space for the things that truly nourish your mind, body, and soul. When you stop saying yes to things that drain you, you free up time for things that bring you joy, fulfillment, and growth. You can spend more time working on your personal development, pursuing your passions, and building the life you've always dreamed of. You can focus on the things that make you feel alive, that push you out of your comfort zone, and that help you become the best version of yourself. A key part of saying no is learning to trust yourself. You need to trust your intuition and your inner voice to guide you in the right direction. When you develop the ability to tune into yourself and listen to your needs, you'll be able to make decisions that are in your best interest. Trusting yourself means recognizing that you deserve to have your time and energy respected, and that it's okay to say no to things that don't serve you. As you continue on your journey of personal growth, you'll encounter more and more opportunities to practice saying no. And with each no you say, you'll become stronger and more resilient. Saying no isn't just about rejecting things that don't serve you. It's about building the habit of taking ownership of your life and your choices. You're taking control of your path, and you're refusing to let anything or anyone derail you from your mission. Saying no isn't easy, but it's necessary for growth. Every time you say no to something that doesn't move you forward, you're reinforcing your commitment to your personal development. You're showing yourself that you are worth investing in, and that you won't allow distractions or negative influences to steal your time and energy. And with each no, you'll create more space for the things that truly matter, things that build you, that elevate you, and that help you grow into the person you're meant to be. In the end, the power of saying no is the power of choosing yourself. It's the power to protect your energy, focus on your goals, and commit to the life you want to create. By saying no to the things that don't grow you, you're saying yes to the life you deserve, a life filled with purpose, clarity, and growth. Chapter 9. Push through discomfort and train your mental toughness. To build a life of achievement, fulfillment, and resilience, you must learn to push through discomfort and train your mental toughness. This is not something that can be built overnight. It requires patience, practice, and a willingness to face the challenges that come your way. Mental toughness is the ability to endure discomfort, confront adversity, and keep pushing forward even when everything inside of you is screaming to quit. It's the difference between those who achieve greatness and those who give up just before reaching it. The journey of personal growth is paved with obstacles, discomfort, and moments of doubt. No one becomes strong by avoiding hardship. Whether you're training for a physical goal, working toward a career achievement, or striving for personal development, the discomfort you face along the way is not a sign that you're on the wrong path. Instead, it's a sign that you're growing, evolving, and pushing the boundaries of what you thought was possible. Mental toughness is not about being cold-hearted or indifferent to pain. It's about embracing the discomfort that accompanies growth and learning to use it as fuel. Every time you face a challenging situation, you have a choice. You can either back down and let the discomfort control you, or you can rise up and let it push you toward your greater potential. The key to mastering mental toughness is understanding that discomfort is not your enemy. It's your greatest ally. It starts with reframing your perspective on discomfort. Instead of seeing discomfort as something to be avoided, start viewing it as a signal that you are on the right path. It's a reminder that you are pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. In fact, growth happens only when you push past the limits of what you're used to. Every time you do something that makes you uncomfortable, you are expanding your capabilities, honing your strength, and reinforcing your resilience. One of the greatest sources of discomfort is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. These fears can paralyze you, preventing you from taking action and pushing through tough times. But the truth is, fear is often a sign that you are about to do something significant. If you're not feeling fear or discomfort, you're likely not challenging yourself enough. When you begin to push through fear and take action in spite of it, you are training your mind to be strong. You are conditioning yourself to face whatever comes your way with confidence and resilience. Another key aspect of mental toughness is discipline. Discipline is what keeps you going when motivation fades. Motivation is fleeting. It's an emotional response that can be influenced by many factors, but discipline is a constant. When you commit to pushing through discomfort, discipline becomes your foundation. It's the unwavering commitment to show up every day, even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable, and even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is what transforms goals into reality. It's what allows you to persevere when the going gets tough. You might be thinking, but it's hard. I don't want to do this. It hurts. That's the point. No one grows by staying in their comfort zone. You cannot build resilience by avoiding hard things. You have to learn how to thrive in the discomfort. You have to learn how to move forward when your mind tells you to stop. This is the essence of mental toughness, being able to push through, keep going, and stay committed to your purpose, no matter how difficult the journey may seem. To train your mental toughness, start by setting small, achievable goals that challenge you to step outside of your comfort zone. These goals don't need to be grand or overwhelming. In fact, it's better to start small. The key is consistency. Once you've set a goal, make a plan and stick to it, no matter what. Even if you're tired, even if you don't feel like it, even if things aren't going as planned, push through. The more you practice this, the stronger your mental toughness will become. As you push through discomfort, it's important to develop a mindset of resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to face adversity head-on, and to keep moving forward. Life is full of unexpected challenges. You will encounter setbacks, failures, and disappointments. But how you respond to these challenges determines your success. Will you let them knock you down, or will you rise above them? Resilience is about embracing the setbacks and using them as learning experiences. It's about refusing to let anything keep you down for long. Training your mental toughness requires not only physical endurance, but also emotional endurance. When you face discomfort, you may feel frustrated, angry, or discouraged. It's important to acknowledge these emotions, but don't let them control you. Learn to manage your emotions by focusing on your long-term goals and reminding yourself that discomfort is temporary. It's a passing moment in the larger journey of growth. By managing your emotions, you're training your mind to stay calm and focused in the face of adversity. This emotional regulation is a critical component of mental toughness. Visualization is another powerful tool in building mental toughness. Athletes have long used visualization techniques to prepare for competition. They mentally rehearse their performance, visualizing themselves overcoming obstacles and achieving their goals. You can use this same technique to train your mind. Visualize yourself pushing through discomfort, overcoming challenges, and staying committed to your goals.
See yourself succeeding despite the difficulties you face. By visualizing your success, you create a mental blueprint for how to act when faced with tough situations. It helps you build confidence and stay focused on the end result. In addition to visualization, positive self-talk plays a crucial role in building mental toughness. Your thoughts shape your reality. If you constantly tell yourself that you can't do something or that it's too hard, your mind will believe it. On the other hand, if you tell yourself that you are strong, capable, and resilient, you will find the strength to push through even the toughest situations. Change the narrative in your mind from one of defeat to one of triumph. Instead of saying, "This is too hard," say, "I can do hard things." Reaffirm your power and resilience every day. One of the most powerful ways to train mental toughness is through physical activity. Whether it's running, weightlifting, martial arts, or any other form of exercise, physical activity pushes you to confront your limits and work through discomfort. When you're physically uncomfortable, you learn to control your mind and your body. You learn that just because something is hard doesn't mean it's impossible. Physical training teaches you how to push through pain, fatigue, and discomfort, and it translates into every area of your life. It builds your mental toughness by showing you that you are capable of more than you think. The key to developing mental toughness is consistency. It's about making the decision to show up every day, to face discomfort, and to push through it, no matter what. It's about building small victories that add up over time. You won't develop mental toughness overnight, but with consistent effort, you will gradually become stronger, more resilient, and more capable of handling whatever challenges life throws your way. As you continue to push through discomfort, you'll notice a shift in your mindset. You'll begin to see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles to avoid. You'll start to trust yourself more, knowing that you have the strength and resilience to overcome anything. And most importantly, you'll realize that the discomfort you once feared is nothing more than a stepping stone to your greater potential. Train your mind to endure discomfort, to push through pain, and to stay focused on your goals. The discomfort you experience today will make you stronger tomorrow. The more you practice mental toughness, the more you will grow, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And as you continue to build your mental toughness, you'll find that you are capable of achieving things you once thought impossible.
Chapter 10. Simplify your goals and attack them with energy. To simplify your goals and attack them with energy is to tap into the core of what drives human achievement. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the sheer number of things you think you need to accomplish. You might find yourself juggling too many ideas, projects, or commitments, each demanding your time and attention. But there's a hidden power in simplicity. When you focus on the right things, everything else becomes clearer and more manageable. Simplifying your goals isn't about cutting back on ambition or dreaming smaller. It's about removing the distractions, the noise, and the unnecessary complexities that can divert your attention from what truly matters. It's about honing in on your purpose and driving forward with a clear, singular focus. Imagine for a moment that you are in the middle of a crowded room, trying to hear a conversation. The noise around you is deafening, with people talking over one another, music blasting, and distractions pulling you in different directions. It's nearly impossible to concentrate, let alone focus on the important conversation you need to hear. This is what it's like when your goals are scattered, overwhelming, and disjointed. You're constantly battling distractions, your mind running in multiple directions, and your energy being drained by competing priorities. However, when you simplify your goals, It's like walking into a quiet room where you can hear yourself think. You can clearly identify what's important, prioritize it, and begin working toward it with the energy and focus you need to succeed. The first step in simplifying your goals is to take a step back and evaluate what you're really after. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle of daily life and the constant demands of work, family, and social obligations. But in order to attack your goals with clarity and purpose, you must first define them clearly. Ask yourself, what do I truly want to achieve? What is the most important thing I need to focus on right now? You may have multiple goals, but you need to prioritize them in a way that makes sense and allows you to channel your energy into one thing at a time. Start by narrowing down your list. It's tempting to aim for perfection and try to tackle everything all at once, but this often leads to burnout and frustration. Instead, focus on one goal that aligns with your core values and long-term vision. This doesn't mean abandoning all of your other goals, but it does mean that you should make one goal the focal point of your energy and attention. By simplifying your goals, you can devote your time, resources, and mental energy to achieving that goal with a sense of urgency and purpose. Once you've identified your main goal, break it down into smaller, actionable steps. Complex goals can feel daunting and out of reach, but when you break them down into bite-sized tasks, they become more manageable and achievable. The key to simplifying this process is to ask yourself, what can I do today to move closer to this goal? What action can I take now that will bring me one step closer? This helps you avoid feeling paralyzed by the enormity of the goal and gives you a clear path forward. Small, consistent actions over time will compound and create momentum, propelling you closer to success. As you work on simplifying your goals, you must also learn to eliminate distractions that take you off course. Life is full of temptations and diversions that can easily derail your progress. Whether it's social media, negative influences, or unnecessary commitments, these distractions steal your time, energy, and focus. One of the most powerful things you can do for your productivity is to guard your time fiercely. Set clear boundaries with yourself and others, and protect the time you've dedicated to working on your goals. You don't need to say yes to every opportunity that comes your way, and you don't need to be available to everyone all the time. By simplifying your commitments and saying no to things that don't serve your goals, you free up the energy to pour into what truly matters. Another important aspect of attacking your goals with energy is maintaining a high level of enthusiasm and drive. When you simplify your focus, you create space for passion to flow. It's easier to get excited about a goal that you know is achievable and aligned with your values. When your goal feels big and overwhelming, it can sap your motivation, but when you break it down into manageable chunks and focus on the next step, it becomes something you can tackle with renewed energy. This is where enthusiasm becomes your secret weapon. Your energy is contagious, and the more you attack your goal with passion and purpose, the more others will be inspired to follow your lead. Your energy will fuel the momentum you need to keep moving forward, even when you encounter setbacks or challenges. The process of simplification isn't just about removing distractions or reducing the number of goals you pursue. It's also about simplifying your mindset. Often we make things more complicated than they need to be by overthinking, second-guessing, and worrying about the outcome. This mental clutter can hold you back and prevent you from taking action. Simplifying your mindset means learning to quiet the noise in your head and focusing on the present moment. Instead of worrying about what might go wrong or how difficult the task ahead will be,
Focus on the task at hand and the small steps you can take today to move closer to your goal. Stay in the moment, stay positive, and stay determined. As you simplify your goals and attack them with energy, you must also be prepared for setbacks and challenges along the way. This is part of the journey, and it's important not to let obstacles derail your progress. When things don't go according to plan, don't panic or give up. Instead, view setbacks as learning opportunities. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I adjust my approach to get back on track? The ability to bounce back from setbacks with a positive attitude is a critical aspect of achieving your goals. It's easy to become discouraged when things don't go as expected, but resilience is the trait that separates those who give up from those who keep going. When you simplify your goals, you create clarity, and clarity leads to action. The more focused you are on what truly matters, the more energy you can direct toward that goal. Simplicity eliminates the mental clutter that prevents you from seeing the path forward, and once you have a clear path, you can move forward with urgency, confidence, and purpose. It's also important to maintain a sense of discipline as you attack your goals with energy. Energy without discipline is like a spark that quickly burns out. Discipline is the fuel that sustains your energy over time. It's what keeps you on track when the initial excitement fades and the hard work begins. It's the determination to follow through, to stay consistent, and to keep moving forward even when the results aren't immediately apparent. Discipline is what turns effort into success, and it's what enables you to maintain momentum even in the face of obstacles. Remember, achieving your goals is not about perfection or rushing to the finish line. It's about taking deliberate, focused action, day by day, and staying committed to your purpose. By simplifying your goals and attacking them with energy, you create the conditions for success. Focus on what truly matters. Eliminate distractions and pour your energy into the pursuit of your most important goal. This is the path to lasting success, growth, and fulfillment. You don't need to chase every opportunity or try to do everything at once. Simplify, focus, and act with energy, and you'll see your goals transform from distant dreams into tangible accomplishments.
Chapter 11. Build small habits that grow your discipline daily. Building small habits that grow your discipline daily is one of the most powerful tools you can employ in your journey toward personal growth. Habits are the foundation of every successful life. Every decision we make, every action we take, is determined by the habits we've formed. Whether it's something as simple as brushing your teeth every morning or as complex as maintaining a consistent fitness routine, habits define the trajectory of our lives. The secret to becoming disciplined isn't to start with monumental changes or to rely on bursts of willpower. It's about starting small, building steadily, and allowing those small habits to compound into something powerful. Discipline is not something that happens overnight. It's not a trait that some people are simply born with and others are not. Discipline is built, and it's built through repeated, consistent actions. The key is understanding that small changes, when done repeatedly, lead to massive results over time. These small habits, while seemingly insignificant in the moment, have the power to shape your identity and your future. The sooner you start cultivating these small habits, the sooner you'll realize how they begin to weave themselves into the fabric of your life. When you think about building discipline, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the idea of changing everything at once. You might feel like you need to wake up at 5 a.m., meditate for an hour, work out for an hour, and eat only clean meals. This all-or-nothing mindset often leads to burnout because it's not sustainable. The real power comes from taking one small action and sticking with it. Rather than trying to overhaul your entire routine in one day, start by focusing on one small habit that you can integrate into your life. This could be something as simple as setting your alarm 15 minutes earlier every day, or spending 5 minutes a day stretching your body. Once you have that small habit locked in, you can build from there. Small habits, when repeated every day, build the momentum that creates lasting discipline. The most important element in building small habits is consistency. It's not enough to just do something once and expect it to stick. The true power of a habit comes from repetition. In the beginning, it might seem insignificant. You might think, this won't make a difference, or 5 minutes isn't enough. But the key is that you're creating the structure of a habit. Once you've committed to that small action, it becomes easier to build on it. Your brain starts to wire itself for that routine, and over time the small habit will grow and evolve. For example, if you're trying to improve your physical health, don't start by committing to an hour-long workout every day. Start with something more manageable, like a 10-minute stretch or a 5-minute walk. Initially, you might not feel like it's doing much, but the goal is not just the physical outcome, it's the habit of showing up. The more consistently you show up, the more likely you'll be to increase the length and intensity of your workout as time passes. The key is that you've already built the habit of taking action, and now it becomes easier to scale. Another important element in building small habits is tracking progress. The simple act of recording your progress reinforces the habit and keeps you accountable. It's like having a visual representation of your effort. Whether it's a journal, a checklist, or a habit tracking app, seeing your progress daily helps keep you motivated. It's a reminder that you're making progress, even if it feels slow at times. This visual reinforcement fuels your motivation and encourages you to keep going. It doesn't have to be fancy, just write down the small action you took and check it off at the end of the day. Over time, you'll see the pattern of your growth and you'll feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. One thing that many people forget when trying to build habits is that setbacks are part of the process. It's easy to get discouraged when you miss a day or don't follow through on a habit. But rather than seeing setbacks as failures, view them as learning opportunities. Understand that building a habit is not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. If you miss a day, don't give up entirely. Pick up where you left off and keep going. Setbacks are inevitable, but your ability to bounce back is what ultimately strengthens your discipline. When building habits, it's also important to understand that they are cumulative. Each small habit feeds into the next. Once you've successfully integrated one habit into your routine, you can add another one. The process becomes exponential. As you begin building small habits, you'll notice that they start to intersect and support one another. For example, if you're building the habit of waking up earlier, you'll likely find that you have more time to focus on other areas of your life, like exercise, reading, or journaling. One small habit becomes the gateway to others. Before you know it, you've built a foundation of discipline that sets you up for success in all areas of your life. In addition to consistency and tracking, there's another powerful tool for building small habits: setting clear intentions. Knowing why you're building a specific habit is essential to maintaining motivation. If your goal is simply to be healthier, you'll have a harder time sticking to that habit when things get tough. But if you attach a specific reason to your habit, like "I want to improve my energy levels so I can be more productive at work," you'll have a clearer sense of purpose. When you understand the why behind your habit, it becomes more meaningful,
and you're more likely to stick with it, even on the tough days. Building small habits also involves creating an environment that supports your success. If you want to build the habit of reading every day, make sure that books are easily accessible in your living space. If your goal is to wake up earlier, prepare your environment the night before by setting your clothes out or preparing your breakfast. The more you can set up your environment to make your habit easier to execute, the less resistance you'll face when it's time to follow through. Environment is a powerful force in habit formation, and by aligning your surroundings with your goals, you reduce the mental effort required to get started. Another helpful tactic for building small habits is to tie them to an existing routine. This is known as habit stacking. For example, if you already brush your teeth every morning, you can stack a new habit onto that routine. After brushing your teeth, you could immediately do 5 minutes of stretching or meditation. By connecting the new habit to an established routine, you're more likely to follow through because you've already triggered the behavior through the existing habit. This small trick can make habit formation much easier and more seamless. Above all, building small habits is about progress, not perfection. The goal is not to create a perfect routine, but to build a system that helps you become more disciplined over time. Discipline is built by showing up day after day, doing the small things that add up to something big. If you can commit to building one small habit every day and continue to build from there, you'll find that your life becomes more focused, more productive, and more aligned with your goals. The discipline you cultivate through small habits will eventually spill over into every area of your life, creating a foundation of success that you can build on for years to come.
Chapter 12. Remove toxic influences from your daily environment. Removing toxic influences from your daily environment is one of the most profound steps you can take in your journey of self-improvement. The environment you surround yourself with has an enormous impact on the direction of your life. Every day you are influenced by the people, media, and physical surroundings you engage with. While some of these influences nurture your growth, others might silently undermine it, slowing down your progress and draining your energy. The good news is that you have the power to control and shape your environment, and by doing so, you can significantly enhance your mental and emotional well-being. The first step in removing toxic influences is recognizing them. Toxic influences can come in many forms: people who drain your energy, media that feed negative thoughts, or environments that make it difficult to focus. Often, these influences are subtle, creeping into your life in ways you might not immediately recognize. They are the habits, people, or distractions that hold you back from achieving your potential. They may even be things that seem innocent at first glance, but have a slow, corrosive effect on your mindset and progress. Take a moment to consider the people in your life. Are there individuals who consistently bring negativity, drama, or criticism? These individuals may not be intentionally harmful, but the energy they emit can have a lasting effect on your mental clarity and emotional state. If you spend too much time with people who complain constantly, are perpetually negative, or who don't support your aspirations, you may begin to absorb those negative patterns of thinking. Their attitude becomes contagious, and without realizing it, you might start reflecting their negativity in your own thoughts and actions. On the flip side, consider the individuals who uplift and inspire you. These are the people who encourage your growth, challenge you to be better, and celebrate your achievements. When you spend time with people who have a positive mindset and a growth-oriented approach to life, their energy becomes contagious too. You are naturally influenced by the people you surround yourself with, and choosing to limit exposure to toxic individuals can drastically improve your emotional resilience and your ability to stay focused on your goals. The impact of toxic people doesn't just end with social interactions, it extends into the media you consume. In today's world, information overload is a constant challenge. Social media, news, television, and even advertisements are filled with content that can negatively affect your mood and mental clarity. The constant barrage of negativity, false narratives, or sensationalism can leave you feeling stressed, anxious, or disillusioned. It becomes easy to fall into the trap of comparing your life to what you see online or feeling overwhelmed by the constant influx of negative news. This kind of environment can cloud your judgment, distract you from your goals, and prevent you from cultivating a mindset focused on growth. The solution is not to isolate yourself completely from the outside world, but rather to be intentional about what you allow into your mind. Start by curating your media consumption. Unfollow accounts or unsubscribe from content that brings you down or fills your mind with negativity. Instead, seek out sources of information that promote positivity, productivity, and growth. This could mean following thought leaders, reading books that inspire you, or engaging with content that aligns with your values and goals. When you carefully choose the information you consume, you create an environment that nurtures your personal growth and strengthens your resolve. Your physical environment also plays a critical role in shaping your mental state. If you are surrounded by clutter, chaos, or disorganization, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and distracted. A messy space creates mental clutter, making it harder to focus and think clearly. Taking the time to declutter your physical environment can help you feel more in control and present. Simplifying your surroundings can promote a sense of calm and focus, which in turn allows you to dedicate more energy to your personal goals. Consider your work or living spaces. Are they set up in a way that supports your productivity and well-being? Do you have areas dedicated to relaxation and reflection? Creating intentional spaces for specific activities can help improve your mental clarity and foster a sense of balance. For example, if you work from home, create a workspace that is free from distractions and clutter. If you want to foster creativity, design a space that inspires you and invites new ideas. The more you can curate your environment to align with your goals, the more productive and focused you will become. One of the most powerful ways to remove toxic influences is through setting boundaries. Boundaries are the lines you draw to protect your energy, time, and emotional well-being. In relationships, boundaries help you define what you are willing to accept and what you will not tolerate. Setting boundaries with people who drain your energy or bring negativity into your life is crucial for maintaining your peace of mind. This can be a difficult process, especially if you are someone who has been accommodating or overly generous with your time. However, establishing clear boundaries is a vital step in taking full responsibility for your mental and emotional health. You may need to learn to say no to people or activities that don't contribute to your well-being. This can be challenging at first, especially if you are used to people-pleasing or trying to maintain harmony. But saying no is an act of self-care and self-respect. It allows you to prioritize your energy for things that align with your values and your goals. Setting boundaries also means recognizing when you need space for yourself. Taking time for self-care, rest and reflection is necessary for replenishing your energy and staying on track. Removing toxic influences also involves protecting your emotional energy. Negative emotions such as fear,
anger and resentment can cloud your judgment and prevent you from making sound decisions. Toxic influences, whether from people, media, or negative self-talk, can easily feed these emotions and create a cycle of negativity. To break free from this cycle, it's important to practice emotional discipline. This means learning how to manage your emotional responses instead of reacting impulsively to external stimuli. One of the best ways to protect your emotional energy is by practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness helps you stay present and aware of your emotions, thoughts, and reactions. It allows you to detach from the negative influences around you and respond from a place of calm and clarity. Regular mindfulness practices, such as meditation or deep breathing, can help you maintain a sense of peace and focus throughout the day, even in the face of external challenges. In addition to protecting your emotional energy, it's also crucial to guard your mental energy. Mental energy is the fuel that drives your thinking, decision-making, and problem-solving abilities. Toxic influences, such as distractions, overcommitments, or negative thought patterns, can drain your mental energy and make it harder to think clearly or stay focused on your goals. To protect your mental energy, you need to identify and eliminate sources of distraction and negativity. One of the most effective ways to do this is by simplifying your daily routine. Limit the number of decisions you have to make by automating or batching tasks. For example, meal prepping, setting specific times for work, and eliminating unnecessary choices in your day can free up mental energy for more important tasks. Reducing clutter in your physical space also helps clear your mind, allowing you to focus on the things that matter most. By creating an environment that supports your mental and emotional well-being, you free yourself from the drain of toxic influences, enabling you to perform at your highest level. Finally, removing toxic influences from your environment is a process of continuous reflection and refinement. It's not something that you do once and forget about. As you grow and evolve, new toxic influences may emerge, or old ones may resurface in different forms. It's important to regularly assess the people, media, and physical spaces you engage with to ensure they are still contributing to your well-being and growth. By staying aware of the influences around you and making adjustments as needed, you can maintain an environment that fosters your personal growth and helps you achieve your goals. Removing toxic influences is an essential part of building a life that is aligned with your values and purpose. It's about creating space for positivity, growth, and focus. By actively choosing to protect your time, energy, and emotions from negative influences, you empower yourself to become the best version of yourself. This process may take time, but the rewards are immeasurable. As you remove the toxicity from your environment, you create a life that is full of possibility, clarity, and purpose. Your environment is the foundation of your success. When you cultivate a positive, growth-oriented space, you set yourself up for lasting transformation.
Chapter 13. Use setbacks to fuel your next powerful move. Setbacks are an inevitable part of life, and often they can feel like obstacles standing between you and your goals. They can come in many forms: failed attempts, missed opportunities, disappointments, or unforeseen challenges. But while setbacks may initially feel discouraging or even debilitating, they have the potential to be powerful fuel for growth. The key is to learn how to shift your perspective and use setbacks as opportunities for further development, instead of allowing them to derail your progress. The first step in using setbacks to fuel your next powerful move is to shift your mindset about failure. Many people view failure as a reflection of their abilities, something that defines their worth or their potential. In reality, failure is simply a part of the process, a temporary and necessary stage on the road to success. If you can learn to see failure not as an endpoint but as a stepping stone, it transforms from a negative experience into a catalyst for growth. The more you embrace this mindset, the more resilient you become in the face of setbacks. When you encounter a setback, take a moment to pause and reflect. It's easy to react impulsively or emotionally, but this reaction often leads to self-doubt and frustration. Instead of succumbing to these negative emotions, take a step back and try to gain some distance from the situation. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this experience help me grow? Rather than focusing on what went wrong, focus on what went right and what can be improved. This process of reflection turns setbacks into valuable learning experiences that can propel you forward. It's also important to recognize that setbacks are often the result of factors beyond your control. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes things simply don't go as planned. External circumstances, timing, or even the actions of others may contribute to your setbacks. Instead of ruminating on these external factors, focus on what you can control: your actions, your mindset, and your responses. By taking full responsibility for how you react to setbacks, you empower yourself to remain in control of your path, regardless of external challenges. In addition to reflection, it's crucial to reframe the setback as an opportunity for refinement. Every time you experience a setback, there's valuable feedback to be gained. Ask yourself, what didn't work? Why didn't it work? What could I have done differently? This isn't about self-criticism, it's about learning and growth. Understanding the specific reasons behind a setback allows you to adjust your approach moving forward, strengthening your ability to navigate future challenges. Over time, this process of constant refinement builds greater skill, resilience, and wisdom. Another powerful way to use setbacks to fuel your progress is to revisit your why, the reason you started your journey in the first place. Setbacks can sometimes make us question our goals, motivations, and ability to succeed. In moments of doubt, reconnecting with your deeper purpose can reignite your passion and resolve. Reflect on why this goal matters to you, why it's worth the effort, and how it aligns with your values. A clear, compelling why provides the fuel you need to push through tough times and keep moving forward. When setbacks challenge your progress, remind yourself that the struggle is part of the process and that it's all moving you closer to the life you want to build. It's also helpful to recognize the role of persistence in turning setbacks into successes. Persistence is the willingness to keep going, even when things don't go as planned. Every successful person has faced setbacks, but the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is their ability to persist in the face of adversity. Persistence is what separates those who give up at the first sign of failure from those who continue to press forward, learning and growing with each experience. Each time you face a setback, ask yourself, how can I keep going? What small action can I take to move forward, even if it's just one step? Over time, persistence compounds, and you'll find that the setbacks become less discouraging and more empowering. Building resilience is key to transforming setbacks into powerful catalysts for progress. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity and remain focused on your long-term vision, even in the face of challenges. It's a mindset that sees every setback as a temporary inconvenience rather than a permanent defeat. One way to build resilience is through self-compassion. It's easy to be hard on yourself when things go wrong, but this only adds to the weight of the setback. Instead, practice being kind to yourself.
Recognize that setbacks are a natural part of the journey and allow yourself the grace to learn from them without judgment. This self-compassion gives you the emotional strength to keep going, even when things feel tough. Another powerful tool for using setbacks to fuel your progress is to set micro goals or incremental milestones. When facing a large or overwhelming challenge, setbacks can feel like insurmountable roadblocks. By breaking down your larger goals into smaller, more manageable tasks, you create a roadmap that allows you to move forward step by step, no matter what obstacles arise. Each time you achieve one of these smaller goals, you build momentum, and setbacks no longer feel as daunting. They become simply a part of the process, not something that defines your success. As you make progress, celebrate those small wins. They provide the motivation to keep pushing forward. Additionally, surrounding yourself with supportive people can help you navigate setbacks more effectively. A strong support system can provide encouragement, advice, and perspective when you're struggling. Having people who believe in you and your potential can help you stay focused on your goals and remind you that setbacks are just a temporary part of the journey. When you're feeling discouraged, talk to someone who can offer a fresh perspective or help you see things in a new light. Sometimes, just knowing that you're not alone in your struggles can make all the difference in how you respond to setbacks. It's also important to remember that setbacks don't define your worth or your future. Everyone experiences them. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not the absence of setbacks, but how they respond to them. If you treat setbacks as temporary detours rather than dead ends, you can continue to move forward with renewed strength and determination. Success doesn't come from avoiding setbacks. It comes from how you handle them when they arise. Finally, use each setback as an opportunity to build your mental and emotional toughness. The more you face setbacks and work through them, the stronger and more capable you become. Mental toughness is the ability to remain focused and calm in the face of adversity. It's the quality that allows you to stay on course, even when things get difficult. With each challenge you overcome, you develop a deeper sense of inner strength and resilience. You begin to see setbacks as less of a threat and more as a natural part of the journey toward success. Setbacks are not the end of your story. They are the raw material for your growth. When you shift your mindset to view setbacks as opportunities for learning, refinement, and persistence, you unlock the potential to use each setback as fuel for your next powerful move. Your ability to bounce back, adjust your course, and continue moving forward will determine your success. Embrace setbacks as part of the process. Use them to sharpen your skills, clarify your purpose, and strengthen your resolve. With each setback, you become more capable of achieving your goals and living the life you were meant to create.
Chapter 14. Speak only what builds clarity, strength, and self-control. The words we speak are more than just a form of communication. They are powerful forces that shape our thoughts, influence our emotions, and create our reality. Our words hold the power to build or to break down, to clarify or confuse, to strengthen or weaken. The way we speak not only impacts others, but also has a profound effect on our own mindset and ability to stay disciplined in our journey towards self-improvement. Speaking only what builds clarity, strength, and self-control is a practice that can transform your life, one word at a time. What you say and how you say it directly influence your mental state and your behaviors. If you constantly speak words that are negative, self-limiting, or full of excuses, those words reinforce a mindset of weakness and self-doubt. On the other hand, speaking with purpose, clarity, and strength cultivates a mindset of empowerment and control. Every word you speak is either moving you toward your goals or pulling you further away. That's why it's crucial to become mindful of the language you use and to choose words that support the person you want to become. It's easy to slip into habits of speaking without thinking, especially in moments of stress, frustration, or uncertainty. We might say things like, "I can't do this," "I'm not good enough," or "this is too hard." These statements may seem harmless, but over time, they erode your confidence and reinforce a belief that you are powerless. If you find yourself frequently speaking this way, take a step back and ask yourself, what am I really saying? What am I reinforcing with these words? The truth is, the words we speak are often reflections of our inner beliefs. If your words are filled with negativity, it's a sign that you need to work on transforming your inner dialogue. The key to shifting this dynamic is to become intentional with your words. When you speak, aim to speak with purpose and clarity. Every word should serve a greater purpose, to clarify your goals, to strengthen your resolve, and to maintain your self-control. Speaking in this way is an exercise in discipline. It requires you to be conscious of the language you use, to pause before you speak, and to carefully choose words that serve you rather than harm you. One of the most effective ways to begin this practice is to pay attention to the language you use when talking about yourself. If you constantly speak negatively about yourself, it becomes difficult to maintain a sense of self-belief and confidence. Instead, choose words that affirm your strength and potential. Replace phrases like, "I can't" with "I am learning," "I am growing," or "I am capable." Speak to yourself the way you would speak to a friend who is struggling, encouraging, supportive, and full of belief in their abilities. This subtle shift in language has a profound impact on how you view yourself and your potential. In addition to speaking positively about yourself, it's important to speak in a way that encourages action and clarity. Many people struggle with self-doubt or procrastination because they lack a clear vision of what they want to achieve. When your words lack clarity, your thoughts and actions become muddled. When you speak with clarity, you create a roadmap for your mind to follow. For example, instead of saying, "I should work on my goals," say, "Today, I will take 3 concrete steps toward my goal of becoming a better version of myself." This specific and decisive language sends a clear message to your mind about what you need to do and why it matters. Clarity in your speech helps remove the fog of indecision, guiding your actions with purpose and direction. Another important aspect of speaking with clarity is eliminating ambiguity. Ambiguity creates uncertainty and opens the door for excuses, distractions, and lack of focus. When you speak in uncertain or non-committal terms, you dilute your commitment to your goals. Instead of saying, "I'll try to get better," say, "I will get better." Instead of "I might go to the gym today," say, "I am going to the gym today." Clear, decisive language leaves no room for hesitation. It solidifies your intention and sets you up for success. Speaking with strength is also about embodying confidence in every word you say. When you speak with conviction, you demonstrate to yourself and others that you are serious about your goals and your personal growth. Confidence isn't about arrogance, it's about quiet certainty in your own ability. It's about trusting that you have what it takes to overcome challenges and achieve your objectives. Speak with the confidence that your efforts are worthwhile, that your success is inevitable,
and that you are fully capable of handling whatever comes your way. Strength in speech also means resisting the urge to make excuses. When you make excuses, you diminish your power. Excuses imply that you are a victim of circumstance, that external factors control your success, and that you're powerless to change your situation. Instead of making excuses, take ownership of your actions. If you miss a workout, don't say, "I was too tired." Say, "I made the choice to skip the workout, but I'll do better tomorrow." Taking responsibility for your actions empowers you to learn from your mistakes and move forward, instead of staying stuck in self-pity or denial. The words you use also play a crucial role in maintaining self-control. Self-control isn't just about resisting temptation or making good decisions. It's about maintaining consistency in your actions. If your words are inconsistent with your actions, it creates a sense of internal conflict. When you say you're committed to a goal, but your actions don't reflect that commitment, you undermine your self-control. But when your words and actions align, you build momentum, discipline, and the inner strength to stay on track. Another powerful aspect of using your words to build self-control is to focus on what you will do rather than what you won't do. Focusing on the negative, what you want to avoid or stop doing, can create a sense of deprivation or struggle. Instead, focus on the positive actions you will take. For example, instead of saying, "I won't procrastinate today," say, "I will take focused action and tackle my most important task first." This positive language reinforces your commitment to action and self-discipline, making it easier to stay on track. Additionally, practicing mindfulness in your speech can help you maintain emotional control. Emotions can sometimes drive us to speak impulsively, especially when we're angry, frustrated, or stressed. It's easy to lash out or say things we don't mean when we let our emotions take over. But when you practice mindfulness in your speech, you create a buffer between your emotions and your words. This allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. When you pause before speaking, you give yourself the opportunity to choose words that are aligned with your goals and values, rather than words that are driven by temporary emotions. Speaking only what builds clarity, strength, and self-control is not about perfection. It's about consistency and mindfulness. You will have moments when you slip up, when you speak negatively or impulsively. But each moment is an opportunity to get back on track. The more you practice speaking with intention, the more natural it becomes. Over time, you will notice a shift, not only in your speech, but in your mindset and actions as well. The words you speak will reflect the person you are becoming, someone who is clear in their purpose, strong in their resolve, and disciplined in their actions. In summary, the words you speak hold immense power. They shape your thoughts, actions, and ultimately your life. By choosing to speak only what builds clarity, strength, and self-control, you create a solid foundation for your personal growth. Speak with purpose, clarity, and confidence. Eliminate ambiguity and excuses, and take ownership of your words and actions. Your speech is a reflection of your mindset, and by aligning your words with your values, you will unlock the power to create the life you desire.
Chapter 15. Take cold action when your mind wants comfort. There comes a moment in every pursuit, every dream, and every goal where you are faced with a choice to give in to the comfort of the mind or to take bold, uncomfortable action. The mind is wired for comfort and safety. It craves ease, routine, and the avoidance of discomfort. It's easy to let this natural instinct guide your decisions, But the reality is that the path to growth and success is paved with discomfort. Taking cold action, acting even when your mind tells you to stay comfortable, is the key to breaking through your limitations and achieving extraordinary things. Every goal worth pursuing requires an element of discomfort. If it didn't, everyone would be achieving them. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't often lies in the ability to take action in the face of discomfort. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment when you feel completely ready or confident. It's about pushing through the internal resistance that wants to keep you where you are. When your mind whispers, "Just rest," or "You deserve a break," or "It's too hard right now," that's the moment to push harder. That's when you need to step outside of your comfort zone and take cold, decisive action. This action doesn't have to be grand or dramatic, but it must be intentional. It must move you forward, even if just a small step, even when every part of you is begging you to pause. Taking cold action is about going beyond what feels comfortable, what feels easy, and what feels familiar. It's about recognizing that growth only happens when you push yourself beyond the mental barriers that try to keep you safe in mediocrity. The truth is, there is no growth in comfort. Every time you choose comfort, you choose stagnation. You remain stuck in the same patterns, habits, and ways of thinking. To break free from this, you must embrace discomfort. You must learn to act even when you don't feel like it, to take the first step before you're ready, and to do the hard things before they become easy. This idea of taking cold action can be seen in many different areas of life. Whether it's getting up early to work out when you'd rather stay in bed, working on your side project when you'd rather watch TV, or having a difficult conversation you've been avoiding, taking cold action is about doing what needs to be done despite the mental resistance. It's about making progress even when the path ahead looks difficult, and it's about building the discipline to act regardless of how you feel in the moment. It's natural for the mind to seek comfort, and there's nothing wrong with it. The problem arises when comfort becomes the default mode of operation in your life. The more you give in to comfort, the weaker your ability to take bold action becomes. It becomes harder to push yourself, to move beyond the familiar, and to embrace the challenges that lead to growth. And that's why taking cold action is so crucial. It builds mental toughness and trains your mind to operate in a state of discomfort, which is where real progress lies. When you commit to taking cold action, you are essentially deciding to be the master of your own mind. You refuse to let your emotions or your temporary desires dictate your behavior. The mind might resist, telling you to avoid discomfort, but you recognize that on the other side of that discomfort lies success, growth, and achievement. This requires mental strength, but like any muscle, the more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. The first step in cultivating the habit of cold action is to become aware of the resistance. Notice when your mind is trying to talk you out of something important. It might say things like, "You'll get to it later," "You deserve a break," or "It's too hard right now." These thoughts are simply natural mechanisms of the mind trying to keep you comfortable. They are not a reflection of your true capabilities or your potential. Recognizing this resistance for what it is, your mind trying to keep you safe, is the first step in overcoming it. Once you see it, you can decide not to listen to it. You can choose to act anyway. Next, build small, incremental actions into your day that push you out of your comfort zone. Cold action doesn't always have to be dramatic. It can be as simple as starting the task you've been procrastinating on, or getting out of bed when you don't feel like it. Every time you take action in the face of discomfort, you are reinforcing your ability to push through resistance. Over time, these small actions add up and create momentum.
You build a new mental pattern of not waiting for motivation or the perfect conditions, but simply doing the work no matter what. This consistency is what leads to results. One powerful way to practice cold action is to set clear intentions for your day and then follow through, regardless of how you feel. Set goals for the day, and when the temptation to stay comfortable arises, remind yourself of your commitment to yourself. The more you stick to your word, the more your actions will align with your goals, and the less power the resistance will have. You begin to see discomfort not as an obstacle, but as a signal that you are on the right path. The harder it feels, the more it likely means you are doing something meaningful and challenging, and that's where the magic happens. Taking cold action is also about building resilience. Life doesn't always go as planned, and obstacles will inevitably arise. When you encounter setbacks or challenges, the instinct is often to pull back and retreat into comfort. But those who are successful aren't the ones who avoid discomfort. They're the ones who keep pushing through it, who continue to take action even when things get tough. Every time you face a challenge and push through it, you build a mental toughness that becomes an asset in every area of your life. Another key aspect of taking cold action is the ability to embrace failure as part of the process. The fear of failure often leads people to stay in their comfort zones where it feels safe. But failure is not something to be feared, it's an essential part of growth. The more you take cold action, the more you will encounter failure, and the more you will learn from it. Every failure teaches you something valuable. The more you experience, the more resilient you become. Eventually, failure will no longer feel like a setback, but rather a stepping stone toward your success. One of the most profound shifts that comes with taking cold action is the transformation of your mindset. Initially, acting despite discomfort might feel like a battle. Your mind will be filled with doubts, resistance, and excuses. But over time, this mental battle becomes easier. You start to associate discomfort with growth, and you begin to thrive in the face of it. You develop a mindset that sees obstacles as opportunities, and you begin to crave the challenge instead of avoiding it. This shift in perspective changes how you approach life. It changes how you show up each day and how you deal with adversity. You no longer shy away from hard work or difficult situations. Instead, you take them head-on, knowing that every challenge is an opportunity to become stronger, more disciplined, and more successful. Taking cold action is the ultimate antidote to procrastination, doubt, and fear. It is the habit that will separate you from those who wait for the perfect moment and those who take charge of their destiny. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Soon, taking cold action won't feel uncomfortable. It will feel like second nature. You will stop waiting for motivation or perfect conditions, and you will start acting in spite of your fears and doubts. And when you do, you will realize that the only way to grow is to push through the discomfort, to take that first step, and to keep moving forward no matter what.
Chapter 16. Master your emotions by choosing your response wisely. Mastering your emotions isn't about suppressing them or pretending they don't exist. It's about learning how to respond to them, not be controlled by them. Emotions, in their essence, are neither good nor bad. They are natural reactions to stimuli, thoughts, and experiences. However, the way we choose to respond to our emotions can shape our entire experience of life. This is where true mastery lies, in understanding that while you can't always control what happens to you or the emotions that arise, you absolutely have control over how you react. This power of response is at the heart of emotional mastery. Every day, we are faced with countless situations that stir emotions within us. Some of these emotions are positive, like excitement, love, and joy. Others are less desirable, such as frustration, anger, and fear. While emotions are often quick to emerge, the way we handle them can either empower us or hold us back. By choosing our responses wisely, we can navigate even the most challenging emotions with grace and clarity, turning them into opportunities for growth rather than obstacles that derail us. One of the first steps in mastering your emotions is recognizing that your feelings are not you. Too often, we become so entangled in our emotions that we start to identify with them. I am angry, I am sad, I am stressed. But these are just passing states, not permanent identities. When you make the distinction between who you are and what you're feeling, you give yourself the space to respond more thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Imagine you're in a situation that triggers anger. Perhaps someone cuts you off in traffic or criticizes your work. The emotion of anger arises, and it's easy to get swept up in it, allowing it to dictate your next actions. You might yell, curse, or hold a grudge. But what if, instead of letting the anger control you, you paused and gave yourself a moment to reflect? You could recognize that the anger is simply a feeling, not a reflection of your true self. From this space, you can choose a response that serves your well-being, such as taking a deep breath, letting it go, and choosing to remain calm. By doing so, you not only diffuse the situation, but you also strengthen your ability to stay in control of your emotions. This concept is central to emotional mastery. It's not about denying your emotions or pretending they don't matter. It's about understanding them, accepting their presence, and then choosing a response that aligns with your values and long-term goals. When you react without awareness, you're at the mercy of your emotions, and they dictate your actions. But when you take a step back and respond with intention, you are in control. This is the key to emotional intelligence, understanding that you have the ability to choose your response in any given moment. One of the most powerful tools in emotional mastery is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It's about observing your thoughts and emotions as they arise without immediately reacting to them. This practice allows you to create a space between stimulus and response, which is where true emotional mastery happens. When you're mindful, you become more aware of how your emotions affect your thoughts and actions, giving you the opportunity to pause and choose a more effective response. For example, let's say you're feeling overwhelmed with a project at work. The natural emotional response might be anxiety or stress. Without mindfulness, you might react by procrastinating, avoiding the task, or panicking. But with mindfulness, you can observe the anxiety without judgment. You can acknowledge the feeling without letting it take over. You might recognize that the stress is simply a signal that you care about the outcome, and instead of spiraling into panic, you can choose to break the task into smaller, manageable steps. This shift in response not only alleviates the stress, but also propels you forward in a productive way. Mastering your emotions also involves understanding that emotions are temporary. They rise and fall like waves in the ocean. This is especially important to remember during intense emotional moments. Whether you're feeling furious, heartbroken, or anxious, it's important to remind yourself that these emotions will pass. Nothing lasts forever, and that includes the intensity of your emotions. When you recognize the impermanence of your feelings, it becomes easier to navigate them without getting swept away. You can ride the wave of emotion rather than being crushed by it. Another aspect of emotional mastery is learning to detach from external circumstances and realize that your emotional response is often a reflection of your internal state. It's easy to blame external events or people for how we feel. He made me angry. She hurt my feelings. The situation stressed me out. But the truth is that while external factors may trigger emotions, your emotional response is shaped by how you interpret those factors. This is a powerful realization. You are not a passive victim of your circumstances. You have the power to choose how you respond. For instance, two people can face the same situation and have completely different emotional responses. One person might get angry and lash out, while the other remains calm and composed. The difference lies in how each person interprets the situation and chooses to react. By taking ownership of your emotional responses, you stop blaming others for how you feel and start taking responsibility for your emotional well-being. This shift in mindset is transformative because it empowers you to change your emotional responses rather than being at the mercy of your circumstances. A key aspect of mastering emotions is learning to embrace discomfort. Often we try to avoid negative emotions because they feel uncomfortable. But in reality, discomfort is a natural part of life. No one is immune to feelings like frustration, disappointment, or sadness. In fact, it's often through discomfort that we grow the most. By choosing to experience and process these emotions instead of avoiding them, we can develop resilience. Resilience is not about suppressing or denying your feelings. It's about facing them head-on, acknowledging them, and choosing to move forward despite them. This doesn't mean you should suppress or bottle up your emotions. Suppression only leads to them building up and eventually erupting in unhealthy ways. Instead, emotional mastery is about feeling your emotions fully without letting them dictate your actions. It's about experiencing the full spectrum of human emotions and using them as valuable sources of insight into yourself. For example, if you feel anger, it may be a sign that something is not aligned with your values. If you feel sadness, it might be a sign that you care deeply about something you've lost. When you listen to your emotions in this way, they become powerful allies rather than obstacles. Choosing your response wisely also involves understanding that you can't control everything around you, but you can control how you react. This mindset helps you let go of the need for external validation or the desire to control situations beyond your power. For example, if someone criticizes you, you may feel hurt, but you can choose how you respond. You can take the feedback constructively, or you can let it go without internalizing it. When you let go of the need to control everything and focus on your response, you reclaim your power. Mastering emotions also means understanding that not all emotions are negative or detrimental. Emotions like passion, excitement, and joy are powerful drivers of action and creativity. The key is not to suppress these emotions, but to channel them wisely. When you feel joy, let it fuel your drive. When you feel passion, let it propel you toward your goals. The ability to harness both positive and negative emotions gives you an incredible range of emotional tools to navigate life's challenges. Ultimately, mastering your emotions is a lifelong practice. It's not about perfect control or never feeling strong emotions. It's about cultivating the wisdom to choose how you respond to those emotions. It's about developing the awareness to recognize when your emotions are taking over and having the courage to pause, reflect, and choose a response that aligns with your values. Emotional mastery doesn't mean being unaffected by life's challenges. It means being empowered to navigate them with wisdom, strength, and clarity. When you master your emotions, you master your life. Chapter 17. Eat and move in ways that increase your energy. Energy is one of the most essential commodities in our lives. Without energy, everything feels like an uphill battle. We all need the right fuel to keep our minds sharp, our bodies strong, and our spirits high. The way we eat and move profoundly influences how much energy we have throughout the day. If you're feeling drained, sluggish, or mentally foggy, it's likely because your diet and movement habits aren't serving your needs. The good news is that with small adjustments in both, you can greatly increase your energy levels, enhance your productivity, and improve your overall well-being. The body needs a constant supply of energy to function properly, and food is the primary source of that energy. Yet, the quality of the food you consume matters far more than simply eating for the sake of calories. The right foods fuel your body in a way that stabilizes blood sugar, enhances mental clarity, reduces fatigue, and supports long-lasting energy. On the other hand, poor dietary choices, such as consuming processed sugars, refined carbohydrates, and excessive caffeine, can lead to energy crashes, poor mood, and a general feeling of sluggishness. One of the first and most impactful changes you can make to increase your energy is to focus on whole, nutrient-dense foods. These include fresh vegetables, fruits, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. When you nourish your body with these nutrient-rich foods, you're giving it the best possible fuel for sustained energy. The body requires specific vitamins, minerals, and nutrients to perform efficiently, and these nutrients are abundant in whole foods like leafy greens, avocados, nuts, seeds, fish, and legumes. These foods don't just give you energy, they support every function of your body, from brain health to muscle function to immune strength. Eating a balanced, nutritious diet isn't just about physical energy, it also affects your mental energy. Think about how sluggish you feel after indulging in a heavy processed meal. Your mind becomes foggy, your concentration drops, and you might feel a bit lethargic. On the other hand, when you eat foods that are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and fiber, your brain remains sharp, your mood stays stable, and you're less likely to experience the midday slumps that often plague those who rely on sugar or caffeine for an energy boost. While it's important to focus on nutrient-dense food choices, it's equally crucial to avoid processed foods that can spike your blood sugar and leave you feeling drained. These foods, like sugary snacks, fast food, and sodas, provide a temporary boost of energy, but it's short-lived, often followed by a crash. This cycle of peaks and valleys is exhausting and can lead to a constant need for quick fixes like caffeine or sugar. To break this cycle, aim for steady, consistent energy throughout the day by eating balanced meals and snacks that are rich in protein, fiber, and healthy fats. When you're aiming to increase your energy, meal timing also plays a role. Instead of eating 3 large meals, which can sometimes leave you feeling too full and sluggish, consider eating smaller, more frequent meals throughout the day. This keeps your metabolism active, stabilizes blood sugar levels, and ensures a continuous supply of nutrients. Eating every 3 to 4 hours helps prevent the dips in energy that often occur between meals, and it keeps you feeling alert and focused. Hydration is another key factor in maintaining high energy levels. Dehydration can lead to fatigue, headaches, and difficulty concentrating. In fact, even mild dehydration can cause your energy levels to plummet. Water is crucial for many bodily functions, including nutrient absorption, circulation, and temperature regulation, so make sure you're drinking enough throughout the day. A good rule of thumb is to aim for at least 8 glasses of water per day, and more if you're physically active or in hot weather. While diet plays a crucial role in your energy levels, physical activity is just as important.
Exercise is a natural energy booster that increases blood flow, improves circulation, and releases endorphins, chemicals in the brain that promote feelings of happiness and well-being. Regular movement not only strengthens your muscles and improves cardiovascular health, but it also reduces feelings of fatigue and boosts overall vitality. The more active you are, the more energy you'll have to tackle your day with enthusiasm and focus. But it's not just about any form of movement. The type of exercise you engage in also impacts your energy. A combination of cardiovascular exercises like walking, running, cycling, or swimming, and strength training is ideal for increasing energy. Cardiovascular exercise boosts circulation, delivering more oxygen to your cells, which helps you feel more energized. Strength training, on the other hand, builds muscle mass, increases metabolism, and enhances endurance. Both types of exercise support sustained energy levels by improving your physical health, and when your body feels strong and capable, your energy is naturally boosted. You don't need to engage in intense workouts every day to see improvements in your energy. Even moderate physical activity, like a brisk walk, yoga, or stretching, can make a significant difference. Consistency is key. Rather than pushing yourself too hard in a single workout, aim for regular movement throughout the week. This will not only help improve your energy, but it will also reduce stress, enhance your mood, and improve your sleep quality, all of which contribute to feeling more energized. Sleep is another pillar of energy that should not be overlooked. It's during sleep that your body repairs itself, restores energy, and strengthens your immune system. If you're not getting enough restorative sleep, your energy levels will suffer no matter how well you eat or exercise. Prioritize getting 7–9 hours of quality sleep each night, and ensure that your sleep environment is conducive to rest. This means creating a calm, dark, and quiet space, avoiding stimulants like caffeine and electronics before bed, and developing a consistent sleep schedule. There's also a relationship between stress and energy that cannot be ignored. Chronic stress is a major energy drain, and it's often the result of both mental and physical tension. If you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or constantly on edge, it can leave you feeling mentally and physically depleted. Managing stress is essential for maintaining high energy levels. Practices like mindfulness, deep breathing, meditation, and even journaling can help you stay calm and focused, reducing the mental burden of stress and giving you the mental and physical energy to take on the day. While you cannot always control the external stresses in your life, you can control how you respond to them. By creating space for rest and recovery, engaging in regular physical activity, and ensuring you're eating nutrient-dense foods, you provide your body with the resilience it needs to handle life's challenges without sacrificing your energy. It's important to understand that increasing your energy is not a quick fix. It's about creating sustainable habits that nourish both your body and mind. These habits, eating whole nutrient-dense foods, staying hydrated, exercising regularly, getting quality sleep, and managing stress, are the foundation for long-term vitality. With consistency, these habits will become second nature, and you'll notice a significant increase in your energy levels over time. So make the decision today to start fueling your body with the right foods, moving it in ways that increase vitality, and nurturing your mind and body with rest and stress management. Your energy is your most valuable resource, and by taking intentional action to care for it, you will create a life of increased productivity, better health, and greater joy.
Chapter 18. Reflect every night on your actions and growth. At the end of each day, when the noise of the world begins to settle, there is a precious opportunity to pause, reflect, and take stock of your actions and growth. Reflection is one of the most powerful tools available for personal growth. By looking back on your day, you create the space to learn, to acknowledge your progress, and to identify areas for improvement. It is easy to get caught up in the demands of the present moment and overlook the subtle yet significant steps you take every day, but reflection helps you become more conscious of your journey and refine your path forward. Taking time to reflect on your day may seem like an insignificant activity, but it holds immense value. It allows you to track the progress of your goals, evaluate your behavior, and most importantly, recognize your accomplishments. Without reflection, you risk moving through life without fully understanding your growth or the shifts in mindset that occur as a result of your daily actions. You might feel like you're on a treadmill, constantly moving, but never getting anywhere. Reflecting each night helps break this cycle, allowing you to stop, assess, and adjust. Reflection is more than just looking back on what you've done. It's about being present in the moment and analyzing your actions, thoughts, and feelings. It requires honesty, self-awareness, and the courage to confront uncomfortable truths about yourself. By doing so, you open the door to real change. Reflecting is not about being critical of yourself, but rather about becoming more aware of your strengths and weaknesses. It's about understanding how your actions align with your values and determining where you can make adjustments for future growth. When you take the time to reflect on your day, you can ask yourself powerful questions that help guide your personal development. For instance, ask yourself, what did I do today that brought me closer to my goals? What actions did I take that I am proud of? Where did I fall short? Why did I act the way I did in certain situations? What lessons can I learn from my mistakes? How can I adjust my approach tomorrow? These questions allow you to reflect not only on your behavior, but also on your mindset, your choices, and the deeper motivations behind your actions. It's important to note that reflection is not just about focusing on your successes or your failures. It's about examining the totality of your experiences, whether they were positive or negative, and using them as stepping stones for growth. When you reflect on your day, you should acknowledge what went well and give yourself credit for the hard work you've put in. However, you should also be willing to look at what didn't go as planned and consider how you can improve. This is not an opportunity to beat yourself up, but rather an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more capable of handling the challenges that lie ahead. One of the key benefits of reflection is that it allows you to identify patterns in your behavior. By looking back on your actions over time, you can notice whether you are consistently moving closer to your goals or whether there are habits and actions that are holding you back. Perhaps you notice that you often procrastinate in the mornings or that you tend to get distracted in the afternoon. Maybe you find that you consistently make decisions based on fear or hesitation rather than confidence and clarity. Recognizing these patterns gives you the insight you need to make intentional changes and take more control over your decisions. Another benefit of reflecting on your day is the sense of satisfaction it can bring. When you take a moment to acknowledge the progress you've made, no matter how small, it reinforces the belief that you are moving forward. This sense of accomplishment provides motivation to keep pushing, even when things get tough. It creates a positive feedback loop that encourages you to keep making the right choices because you can see the tangible results of your efforts. Reflection also helps you develop greater emotional intelligence. by taking the time to reflect on how you felt during certain situations, whether it was frustration, joy, anger, or excitement. You gain a deeper understanding of your emotions and how they influence your decisions. This self-awareness allows you to regulate your emotions more effectively, leading to more thoughtful, intentional responses rather than reactive, knee-jerk reactions. As you become more in tune with your emotions, you'll find it easier to maintain your composure in challenging situations and make decisions from a place of clarity rather than emotional turmoil. Building the habit of nightly reflection also strengthens your ability to stay present. When you reflect, you practice mindfulness, stopping to observe your thoughts, feelings, and actions without judgment. This practice trains you to live more intentionally, rather than merely reacting to external circumstances. It allows you to take a step back and view your life from a broader perspective, helping you make decisions that align with your long-term goals instead of getting caught up in the moment. Incorporating reflection into your routine doesn't require a lengthy or complex process. It can be as simple as taking 5 to 10 minutes before bed to sit quietly and review your day. Some people find it helpful to journal during this time, writing down their thoughts and feelings. Journaling gives you a tangible way to track your progress and externalize your thoughts, which can be a powerful tool for self-discovery. Others may prefer to reflect quietly in their mind or meditate, focusing on the key moments of their day and how they responded to them. In addition to reflecting on your actions and growth, it's important to reflect on your goals. Where do you stand in relation to your long-term objectives? Are you making progress, or have you veered off course? Sometimes we get so caught up in the day-to-day that we lose sight of our bigger picture. Reflection gives you the space to evaluate whether your actions are moving you toward your goals, or whether you need to adjust your strategy. If you've been putting in the effort, but not seeing the results you desire, it's a sign that something needs to shift. Reflection is the perfect time to recalibrate and refocus on your path. Reflection also plays a crucial role in self-compassion. We often hold ourselves to impossibly high standards and beat ourselves up for not meeting them. However, reflection helps you recognize that growth is a process and that setbacks and mistakes are a natural part of that journey. By being gentle with yourself during reflection, you give yourself the grace to move forward without the weight of self-criticism holding you back. This self-compassion allows you to continue growing without the fear of failure or the burden of perfectionism. The best time to reflect is at night, as it's when the day's activities are fresh in your mind and your body is winding down. This time of day offers the ideal opportunity to assess your actions with clarity and calmness. You're not distracted by the hustle and bustle of the day, and you can focus solely on your thoughts and growth. Additionally, nighttime reflection helps you end your day on a positive note. Instead of going to bed feeling overwhelmed, stressed, or anxious, you can go to sleep with a sense of peace, knowing that you have taken the time to acknowledge your efforts and lessons. Nightly reflection serves as a tool for continued growth. It helps you consistently evaluate your progress, learn from your experiences, and take ownership of your development. It's the kind of practice that builds momentum. The more you reflect, the more you become aware of your patterns, strengths, and areas for growth. As a result, your ability to make intentional choices and drive your personal development forward increases. You become more attuned to what works for you and what doesn't, enabling you to stay on track toward achieving your goals. Ultimately,
The power of nightly reflection lies in its ability to transform your mindset and approach to life. It helps you become the kind of person who takes ownership of their actions, learns from their experiences, and continually strives for improvement. By reflecting on your day, you create a habit of mindfulness, self-awareness, and growth that will continue to benefit you for years to come. So commit to this practice. Take a few moments each night to reflect on your actions, your emotions, and your progress. You'll be amazed at how it transforms your life, one small step at a time.
Chapter 19. Protect your mind from anything that drains it. In our modern world, where information is constantly flowing and demands on our attention are high, it's easy for our minds to become overwhelmed. The mind is an incredibly powerful tool, but it can also be fragile and easily drained by external influences. The constant barrage of notifications, opinions, social media updates, and news cycles can eat away at our mental energy, leaving us feeling exhausted, unfocused, and disconnected. This is why protecting your mind from anything that drains it is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. The mind is the foundation for everything we do. It influences our decisions, shapes our emotions, and determines how we interact with the world. When your mind is clear and focused, you are capable of great things. However, when it's overloaded and stressed, it can be difficult to find direction or motivation. If you want to take control of your life and reach your full potential, one of the most important steps you can take is to protect your mental space from distractions and negativity. This requires intentional effort and awareness, but it's an effort that pays enormous dividends in the long run. There are many things that can drain your mental energy: the opinions of others, toxic relationships, unnecessary drama, excessive social media use, negative self-talk, and even external pressures like work or financial stress. These influences can leave you feeling scattered, anxious, and unproductive. The first step to protecting your mind is to recognize these drains and become conscious of when they are affecting you. Often, we allow these external factors to dominate our thoughts and influence our actions without even realizing it. They become so ingrained in our daily lives that we don't see how much energy we are giving away. But once you start paying attention, you'll begin to notice how much of your mental energy is being wasted. One of the most obvious drains on our mental energy is the constant use of social media. In a world where we are always connected, it's easy to fall into the trap of endlessly scrolling through feeds, checking notifications, and engaging in mindless online activities. While there is certainly value in staying connected and informed, excessive social media use can have a profoundly negative impact on our mental health. The endless stream of comparisons, news updates, and sometimes toxic discussions can leave you feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or even depressed. What starts as a quick check of your notifications can quickly spiral into hours of mindless scrolling, draining your focus and leaving you with a sense of emptiness. To protect your mind, you must set boundaries around your digital consumption. This doesn't mean eliminating social media entirely, but it does mean being intentional about how you engage with it. Create time blocks during your day where you allow yourself to check in with social media, and outside of those times, commit to disconnecting. Turn off non-essential notifications that constantly pull your attention away from the present moment. Practice mindfulness when you are online, being conscious of how certain content makes you feel. If something triggers negative emotions or feelings of comparison, avoid it or unfollow those sources. By curating your digital environment and limiting your exposure to unnecessary distractions, you protect your mental space and ensure that it remains focused on what matters most. Another significant drain on the mind comes from toxic relationships. We all know that certain people can have a profound impact on our mental health. Some uplift and inspire us, while others drain our energy and leave us feeling depleted. Toxic relationships can take many forms: the overly critical friend, the energy-draining co-worker, or the family member who constantly brings negativity into your life. These relationships can leave you feeling exhausted, disrespected, and mentally scattered. Over time, they can erode your sense of self-worth and leave you doubting your own capabilities. To protect your mind from toxic relationships, it's essential to set clear boundaries. This doesn't mean cutting people out of your life entirely unless the relationship is truly harmful, but it does mean knowing when and how to protect your mental energy. It may mean limiting the amount of time you spend with certain individuals, or having honest conversations about the impact of their behavior on your well-being. It's important to remember that you have the right to choose who you allow into your mental space. You don't owe anyone your energy if they consistently bring negativity into your life. By establishing healthy boundaries and learning to say no when necessary, you safeguard your mental health and create space for relationships that support your growth. Another common mental drain is negative self-talk. We can be our own worst critics, constantly questioning our worth and abilities. Negative thoughts, self-doubt, and a lack of self-compassion can deplete your mental energy faster than anything else. The mind is powerful, and the stories we tell ourselves can either empower us or hold us back. If you constantly focus on what you're doing wrong, on your perceived flaws, or on your failures, you reinforce negative beliefs about yourself. This can create a cycle of self-sabotage that is incredibly difficult to break. To protect your mind from this destructive pattern, you must become aware of your inner dialogue and take steps to shift your mindset. Start by recognizing when negative thoughts arise and challenge them. Ask yourself, is this thought based on facts or assumptions? Is this thought helping me grow or holding me back? Remind yourself of your strengths, past accomplishments, and the progress you've made. Practice self-compassion and treat yourself with the same kindness that you would offer to a friend. Replace negative self-talk with positive affirmations and focus on the actions you can take to move forward rather than dwelling on past mistakes. Over time, you'll begin to reprogram your mind to focus on what's possible rather than what's wrong. Stress is another major drain on the mind. Our fast-paced, results-driven society often encourages us to push through challenges without taking time to rest or recharge. The constant pressure to achieve can create mental and emotional burnout, leaving you feeling overwhelmed and disconnected. Stress can come from many sources: work, financial worries, family responsibilities, or personal expectations. When left unchecked, stress can cloud your thinking, reduce your productivity, and hinder your ability to make clear decisions. To protect your mind from stress, you must prioritize self-care and incorporate relaxation techniques into your routine. This might include meditation, deep breathing exercises, or mindfulness practices that help center your thoughts and calm your nervous system. Regular physical activity is also crucial for reducing stress and improving mental clarity. Exercise releases endorphins, which can improve your mood and help you manage difficult emotions. Make sure you also schedule time for rest and recovery, especially during periods of high demand. Remember, taking care of your body and mind is not a luxury, it's a necessity for maintaining your energy and focus. Lastly, one of the most subtle but significant drains on your mind is the constant exposure to negative news and information. In today's world, we are bombarded with information, most of it negative.
We hear about tragedies, injustices, conflicts and disasters on a daily basis. And while it's important to be informed, it's equally important to protect yourself from information overload. Constant exposure to negative news can leave you feeling hopeless, anxious, and disconnected from the world around you. To protect your mind from the impact of negative news, limit your exposure. Choose specific times during the day when you will catch up on current events and avoid obsessively checking news updates. Be selective about where you get your information and make sure to seek out positive, uplifting content as well. Balance the negative with the positive by reading stories of hope, success and resilience. Protecting your mind from the overwhelming flood of negativity allows you to stay focused on your own growth and well-being, rather than being dragged down by the weight of the world. Protecting your mind from anything that drains it requires a combination of awareness, discipline, and intention. It means taking control of your environment, setting boundaries, and making conscious choices about where you invest your mental energy. It's about becoming the steward of your own mind, protecting it from negativity, distractions, and unhealthy influences. When you take the necessary steps to guard your mental space, you will find that your focus sharpens, your energy increases, and your ability to handle challenges grows. Your mind becomes a powerful ally, one that fuels your progress and helps you create the life you desire.
Chapter 20. Show up every day even when it gets hard. Showing up every day even when it gets hard is one of the most powerful habits you can cultivate in your life. It's easy to be motivated when things are going well, when you feel energized, and when progress seems inevitable. But the true test of your strength and resolve comes when challenges arise, when obstacles appear, and when the path ahead is unclear. The ability to persist, even when your energy is low and the road is tough, is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who give up too soon. In every pursuit, whether it's building a career, improving your health, learning a new skill, or strengthening your relationships, there will be moments when it feels like the effort is not paying off. The weight of your goals will seem overwhelming, the work will feel endless, and your patience will wear thin. During these times, it's tempting to quit, to tell yourself that you've done enough, or that the goal is simply out of reach. But it's precisely during these moments that showing up every day becomes a game changer. The key to overcoming these moments lies in understanding the nature of consistency. The most successful people in any field are not the ones who make huge strides only once in a while. They are the ones who show up consistently, even when the results aren't immediate or obvious. Progress is often slow, incremental, and unseen in the short term. However, every small step you take, even when it feels insignificant, contributes to your ultimate success. One of the most important things to realize when things get tough is that persistence isn't about waiting for motivation to strike. Motivation is fleeting, and relying on it to drive you will leave you stranded when it wanes. The true power comes from commitment to yourself, to your growth, and to your goals. This commitment is what fuels you to show up, even when motivation is nowhere to be found. On days when you feel drained, when life's demands feel overwhelming, or when you're faced with setbacks that make it hard to see the point of continuing, showing up means choosing to take one small action. It could be as simple as showing up for a workout, writing one paragraph of your book, or making one phone call to a potential client. It doesn't matter how small the step is. What matters is that you continue moving forward, no matter how hard it feels. There will be moments when you don't feel like working toward your goal, and that's okay. But you must learn to push through those feelings. The reality is that growth doesn't happen during the easy moments. It happens in the trenches. It's in those challenging moments that your character is forged, your resilience is built, and your discipline is strengthened. Every day that you choose to show up, even when it's hard, you're proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you realize. You are not just building the skills and abilities required to achieve your goals, you are also building the mental toughness that will carry you through the inevitable challenges that lie ahead. One of the reasons it's so important to show up every day, even when it's hard, is that consistency breeds momentum. At first, the progress may be barely noticeable, but as you continue to take action, the momentum begins to build. You'll find that the tasks you once dreaded become easier, your motivation is reignited, and the results you've been waiting for start to appear. It's similar to pushing a boulder up a hill. At first, the effort is tremendous, and it seems like nothing is changing. But once you've built momentum, the boulder becomes easier to move, and the uphill climb becomes less of a struggle. Additionally, showing up every day means learning to embrace discomfort. We often avoid discomfort because it feels unpleasant, but discomfort is the key to growth. Without it, you will never know what you are truly capable of. It's easy to stay in your comfort zone and avoid pushing yourself, but you'll find that you plateau and your growth stalls. The real growth happens when you stretch yourself, when you do things that challenge you, and when you take on tasks that make you uncomfortable. Showing up every day means pushing through the discomfort, understanding that it's part of the process, and not allowing it to deter you from your path. You may wonder how to stay consistent on days when you simply don't feel like it. The answer lies in focusing on your why, the deeper reason behind your goals. When you connect with your purpose, it becomes easier to push through the tough days. Whether your goal is to achieve financial independence, get healthier, build your own business, or become the best version of yourself, it's important to remind yourself of why you're working so hard in the first place. Your why is the fuel that will keep the fire burning when everything else feels like it's slowing down. Another crucial element to consider when showing up every day is self-compassion. We are often our own harshest critics, and we tend to expect perfection from ourselves. However, this mindset can be crippling. If you miss a day, fail to meet a goal, or face a setback, it's easy to fall into the trap of self-blame and discouragement. Instead of criticizing yourself, learn to be compassionate. Understand that setbacks are part of the process and that they do not define your ability to succeed. Showing up every day doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It means you're committed to progress, not perfection. It's about getting back on track when you fall off and continuing to push forward, regardless of how many missteps you encounter along the way. One of the most powerful aspects of showing up every day, even when it's hard, is the strength you build along the way. The ability to persevere through difficulty builds a foundation of resilience that will serve you in every aspect of life. When you face challenges in the future, whether in your career, your relationships, or your personal growth, you will have the mental strength to face them head-on. The lessons you learn during the difficult days are often the most valuable because they teach you not only what to do, but how to stay strong when things don't go as planned. Additionally, showing up every day is about building a habit of success. Successful people are not always the most talented or the most intelligent. They are the ones who consistently take action, day in and day out. Success is less about the grand moments of achievement and more about the small, everyday choices that add up over time. When you make showing up a non-negotiable part of your routine, you create a foundation for success. You develop the habit of taking consistent action, and as a result, you increase your chances of achieving your goals exponentially. It's also important to remember that you don't have to show up in the same way every day.
There will be days when you can give 100% and days when your effort is more limited. But as long as you show up in some capacity, you are progressing. On tough days, showing up might mean taking a step back and allowing yourself a bit of rest. But even then, you are still making progress by acknowledging your needs and ensuring you don't burn out. Flexibility within consistency is essential to sustaining your long-term momentum. The most important thing to remember is that showing up every day is not about perfection or always getting it right. It's about building resilience, creating habits, and learning how to push through difficulty. Every time you show up, no matter how small the action, you prove to yourself that you are capable of achieving more than you initially believed. It's in the act of showing up that the real transformation occurs. As you move forward on your journey, there will undoubtedly be days when you feel like giving up, when the path seems too difficult, and when the obstacles feel insurmountable. But these are the moments that define who you are and what you're capable of. When you choose to show up, even in the face of adversity, you are choosing to take control of your destiny. Every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goals, and the days that feel the hardest often lead to the greatest breakthroughs. So continue to show up, keep moving forward, and know that every day you choose to keep going is one step closer to the life you are working so hard to create.